What up, guys? Give me one half a second. All right, what is up, people? So it's gonna be a fun one because I had an interesting night. So I went on Scotty's hangout and had a nice, interesting conversation with him, and he got porn bombed. So I know, or whatever the fuck his name is a porn bomber. So don't send him links, don't send him shit. That's what he does. But on a better note, I recorded the whole goddamn conversation, and apparently, even when you show Scotty complete undeniable curvature or evidence of curvature, just take one wild guess to what Scotty will say and do. Just one, come on, just wild guess. Yeah, that's right. Curvature somehow becomes a straight line. Let me see if I have it ready to go. Like I said, it's boggles my mind how, well, it shouldn't boggle my mind how he does it, because apparently I've had a conversation with him and then I didn't learn my lesson. So I jumped on his panel and we started having a conversation. It was actually a pretty decent conversation in regards to the fact that, you know, it wasn't any yelling or screaming. He wasn't on his little coke binge rage, I guess you would call it. Let me see here. I'm pulling up not 1 second, because I'm pulling up the video. Of course, I wasn't ready, so. But oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about 9/11 real quick, and some information that I hadn't even heard about. Did you guys hear about the toxic fumes and all that shit that was going on, and the EPA telling people that it was all good and nothing to worry about? Because yeah, I listening to the I think it was like a Senate hearing or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was some kind of press conference where they were kissing ass, and they started talking about, and one of the guys came up and he was talking about the bills that were passed to help the people that got sick, and he was saying shit that I hadn't heard about and definitely wasn't mainstream, and I wanted to get into that. And that also means, hey guys, all those people that say I don't talk about 9/11, well, we're going to talk about it. Still pulling that up. Oh, and also bottom left corner of the screen is the new bot command link. I don't even know if the damn bot's in here or not. Go ahead and try it real quick. See if the bot is here. Yeah, you're gonna love to hear this one, Amy. If that stupid bot doesn't give me the link out, then I will go ahead and share the link. Gotta hate that Streambot. Streamlabs bot is the stupidest bot in the world. All right, let me get that link out there to you guys. And we'll get into this. Yeah, farmers, I have no idea what the hell's wrong with that damn bot. Like I said, Streamlab bot has the most features, but it sucks the worst. There's the link right there. Like I said, it's gonna be an open topic, open panel. So we can talk about anything, but I definitely wanted to talk about this. Fucking Jose, man. Hey, Jose. Yeah, everyone's just jumping in right now. Man, let me change my settings. Yeah, my bot is completely useless. What happened, Jose? Okay, okay. Did 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 they have puppies yet? Jeez.
We go to 9/11 and all this stuff.
Yep.
We got it. I need to. I mean, it's the first time I woke up today and I saw a little stream from Scotty Storm
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, John G porn bombed me,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And you kind of just brush it under the rug. You say, "Hey, yeah, I know. I know that one user porn bomb, and you moved on." But
Oh, yeah.
is there any evidence for that? Well, how do we know it wasn't you and you just sweeping it under the rug?
Because it wasn't me, dumbass.
No, but I'm
No,
being serious.
no,
A
no,
lot
no,
of
yeah,
people is
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
question it for real.
Oh no, it's the best part is that what I do a lot of now is I record when I'm on people's panels or I'm hanging out. Now, what I do is I record so I can replay it and hear different people's quote unquote ideas of how things work. And so I recorded the whole time I was on this panel. I was on this panel for about 2 hours. And at the very end of it, Scotty's in the middle of saying, or I'm in the middle of saying something, and all of a sudden it's like his Scotty's freezes. He's not responding to me, and then I get kicked. But what I did record when I did was recording that on my OBS was the person entering the hangout while I was talking and then snipe me. Can't really talk on a panel and use another account to snipe yourself. Doesn't work that way. And also, Scotty gave the link to I know, whatever that guy's name is. Yeah. So that's why I brushed it under the rug. Plus, it's
It
been
was private hangout. I mean, it was private invites he sent.
yeah, yep.
Okay.
And he even says it in the hangout. Or I know I sent the link out. The crazy part is the dumbass still streams on the Google platform. You know how you just go
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
The only thing that saved his channel is the fact that the restrictions. He put age restrictions on his, so
Okay.
you can't be under 18. And that way, what happens is when it gets porn bombed, it doesn't kick. It doesn't.
You okay?
YouTube doesn't do the channel like that.
Really.
Yeah.
Hello,
So
Shannon.
hey channel. I think she said she was cooking
Oh, hi
breakfast.
guys. I thought I was muted.
Yeah. I was gonna say because I thought you said you were gonna be cooking breakfast.
I was just finished eating it, and I meant to say lunch, but you know.
Oh yeah. Where is it?
Food.
All right. Yeah. Just asking the question. I said, yeah, before move on because people is gonna continue saying it was you. You know how it's gonna happen.
Well, the thing is I mean, what has it been, a year and a half now that I've had a clone of my account that goes around sniping people. As far as I'm concerned, I know damn well it's not me. So why should I really put much effort
Yeah.
to it?
But
That's really what it is.
in that type of hangouts, I can snipe myself because I got my laptop. Let's say I'm logging and I
Mhm.
go on my phone and I can snipe my own ass going in a different account. So it can
Well,
happen. I mean, you're
well,
not saying it don't happen.
You couldn't, because what would happen is when you sign on to your Google account and you switch over, what ends up happening is when you enter the room, it will show you the account and your
Yeah,
account.
but
But
I have tried in the hangouts, the
Mhm.
snipeable hangouts.
Why would you try something like that?
I'm in the laptop login, and if I go in another account, in the secondary JG Gonzalez account, I can snipe my other account. I go with a different account in the phone. It's a different device.
well, here's the best part.
Yes, you can.
I can give a shit less about that. I don't snipe people, and anyone who wants to
Yeah,
believe I snipe people can
quite suspicious
enjoy
that he
that.
knows so much about it as well. Leads me to believe that he might be doing this himself.
Yes, Jose. Please
Yeah,
explain.
Yeah.
You're projecting, buddy.
Yeah, I'm telling what can be done. It can be done. You all know that.
No, I'm
Shit.
not. I can care less. Like I said, I don't snipe people, so there you go. That's
I'm gonna snipe you all right now.
realistically, that's my evidence.
I'll snipe you all right now. Jose,
Bang,
why are you
bang.
on here talking about anything but puppies?
Puppies!
There it is. I found it.
Woof woof. Puppies
Yeah,
are
on the
cute,
subject
but they
of
piss
puppies.
everywhere.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jose, any puppies yet?
No, no,
Jose?
they might happen today. Today might be the day.
Wait,
And
who-
if it's gonna happen, yeah, I'm gonna put it live if I'm home. Today I'm off work, so if it happens tomorrow while I'm at work, I'm screwed. I'll tell my wife to record as much as she can, and then I'll upload it. But if I'm home when it happens, oh, it's going live.
Yeah, and I'm watching it. Yeah, we want puppies.
Puppies.
wait,
I
who
feel like
told
I'm already
you?
looking at puppies being
Nearly as
born
good
with
as
them.
kittens.
But I got a
Speaking
question.
of 9/11, by the
better.
way,
Wait, who told you that dog was going to have puppies anytime soon?
The dog.
Well, a prediction on the times that the dogs should have
She
puppies,
was
you
like,
know.
Papa, don't preach.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's the
reality.
first, their time, and her due date is like 3 days ago, and like 2 or 3 days ago, she like broke water. We thought because he had a little bit of pink kind of blood, little color in a little pot of water, but it might have been, she just peed, but she got,
No,
she's
it's the mucus plug.
yeah. So it wasn't actually broke the water probably, but it's gonna happen anytime now. Anytime, it's already the time to do.
How many is she having? Do you know?
Not sure. It feels like 4. It might be more. Last time it felt smaller than the first time she had 4. The second time it felt smaller and she had 5.
How
And
many
this time
nipples does she
it
have?
feels like 4. So I don't know. It's gonna be 4 or 5. Who knows?
How many nipples does she have?
I don't know. 8. I think.
where is
No.
this
She got 8.
conversation going?
She
Two,
can have
four,
up to
6,
8.
8.
Eight
She has
nipples.
8.
She's a witch.
She has 8 nipples and she can have 6 puppies.
Yeah. There you go.
But is that really what's going to happen?
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily mean she
No.
will, but she can have up to that many puppies
Yeah.
because she can support that many puppies.
Yeah,
But I'm
your
pretty
dog-
sure it's
your
more
dog's a
than one
witch.
because she get a big. I mean, you can feel at least 2 or 3 big hard bumps. So yeah, she's gonna have more than one.
Does your dog fly around on a broom?
No, not really. She can't even jump to the bed. She used to jump in the bed until like 2 days ago. She like look up and she like, nah, I stay in the little cage in the floor.
She got a
She ain't
grimoire.
gonna jump.
Got a grimoire.
It's not a witch, come on.
Does she make nice and accurate predictions? Is she called Agnes?
Ah, yeah, go Teddy Pratt. Did you know the Earth's circumference?
Does she quiver when she hears the word Salem?
What is going on?
I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, she's got too many
Witches-
nipples, therefore
witches
she's a
and
witch.
nipples, witches
Yeah.
and nipples.
You have to count the nipples.
Nipples don't have anything to do with witches. Yeah.
Can you imagine that back
Well,
in the day?
Yeah.
Counting all the
Let's
women's
maybe
nipples?
like if you're a man with a 3rd nipple, we could call you a warlock for that. Yeah.
Well, I am
No,
I am a
Scaramanga.
man with 3 nipples. Like,
No,
so
man
am I
with
a
3
warlock?
A
Well,
man
now
with
we gotta
3
find out
nipples.
if you float.
A man with
Prove
3
it.
nipples.
I have
is just a
tried.
man with 3 nipples.
Prove what?
Do
That I got
you
3
prove it?
nipples?
Yeah.
Oh, I
a
can
man
prove that
with
right
3
now.
nipples
Sean
and
G,
a
do you
golden
want me to
dunk.
show my nipples?
No, thank no.
No,
No.
yeah, there's
No.
Okay, because I can turn on my camera and that's it.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
Jose, don't worry about it.
No.
Does that go
No,
to
yeah.
Don't Skype with pornography again.
Well, you guys gotta believe me. You guys gotta believe me.
I'm sorry, but what you're doing is you're actually reinforcing the concept that we're now forming in our mind, which is that you are the Shawn G cloner counter.
Exactly my thoughts, man.
Now, I think, Shawn, we need to go back, and if we can get a hold of a copy of that video, we need to
Hindsight is
examine it for a
20/20.
third nipple. We really need to do that.
I can show you guys I'll just skip to the end real
I
quick
don't
so you
wanna
guys can see.
anything.
Well,
Not seeing anything.
and I want to show you guys. I'm gonna try this.
If it's someone showing their butt, it's bound to be the person we shall not name, who's a dickhead
Oh,
and a
God.
man-child.
Yes.
No, I'm going to have to update my profile to a warlock, a little avatar.
Or just a wizard.
Well,
But your staff's got to have a knob on the end.
There's a song about that.
Dildo.
Okay, so
Oh, wizard staff has a
well,
knob
that's why
on the end.
You guys can't see it. Hang on, let me share this with you guys.
I am the Wizard of Dildos, and I come in peace.
I just know now that Farmer's Boy reads Terry's Pratchett.
Okay,
And,
so
and
hang on,
And
so,
nothing
any
better
chance of
than Teddy Pratchett.
anyone want to play Cripple Mr. Onion?
okay, so this is the hang on, guys. So this is the hangout that I was in.
Yeah.
I right now I'm at the very end. I just want to show you guys what I'm talking about when
Oh, yeah,
I say.
I know.
I can see the third nipple already.
Yeah. I'll show you guys what I was talking about when I said I saw him come in the room.
Not only does Robin Williams put an
What
Irish
the
accent
hell is
on
that?
and be
on
like,
his
oh,
forehead.
blah, blah, and
Scottish
actually
Daniels.
sounds like Bono,
Can you guys
but he
Oh,
hear?
says
he's
stuff
always
like,
naked.
oh, he
Can you
No.
guys hear? Damn.
No.
I
No, we
wonder
don't hear,
why.
but we see.
I wonder why it does that.
met
Oh,
him
you'll be able to see it.
backstage.
Hang on.
There's no pictures of them
For a
together.
man who
This
believes
and that.
in God,
Like I
he's
said,
very
I've done
self-righteous and
I've done the
arrogant.
research, and I, without a doubt,
Yeah,
would
funny
bet my
that.
life, would
It
bet
is,
my
isn't it?
entire life,
Still
my
doesn't
future
realise he's
kids,
upside down.
anybody,
That's
my
what gets me.
dogs,
No, was it straight
that
porn
Bono
or
and
gay
Robin
porn?
Williams are the same fucking person. And if you want to say that you're wrong, I
Yeah,
would
he also
respect
thinks
that
that
because
Robin Williams and
I can see coming from
and,
either a
Bono
deceiver
are the same
or a
person.
brainwashed mind. I would say you're wrong, Scott. But coming from somebody
Yeah.
who's actually enlightened
Robin Williams.
and
You guys
actually done
can't.
research,
If you guys go
I'd
to the
say,
watch
Scotty,
page,
you're
you'll be able to
fucking
hear
spot
it.
on.
I've met one of them,
Yeah.
and it certainly
Sounds
didn't look like the
Pete
other.
Shea.
I would expect you to say that. I would expect you to say that, so it's fine.
And when
Which
I
one
say
did you-
met,
All
I
you're
met
saying
Bono
is what I expect you
at
to
a
say,
charity event.
which
And
actually
literally, I'm going to say
is in
met
my
him, like,
favour.
hello, you're Bono. He said hi,
Oh,
and then I moved on.
yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
I don't want to over
what if
egg
you
that
want to believe
pie
it's in my
like
favour? I expect you to say these
Relationship
things because
again.
I expect you
celeb name
to be that
dropping.
brainwashed.
I know. I
That
know.
you haven't figured this out yet.
Bono about
It
me,
was
he'll
terrible.
tell you
That's what I
everything.
expect.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'll give him a
Oh
bell.
yeah, it's just coming around.
Okay,
No
so
offense to you, because
so
I could
what's
say
gonna happen in
myself
like
years
the
ago,
next couple of
years
seconds
ago,
is
I was
he's gonna
heavily
suddenly
brainwashed.
just
I
go
was
quiet.
fucking absolutely.
Can you go silent for a
fucking
minute so we can listen in the
stick my ass
YouTube watch
up
page?
someone's head,
I'm not
your head
watching it.
up someone's ass. That's how much I
Couldn't have
knew.
got the link to the watch
But
page, or someone already posted that
I
conveniently.
could be honest about that.
I can't. I'm on the
So
tablet.
right now he's kind of just gone quiet, and you guys will see it in a second. I'm about to pause it. So right there, you can see this is when the porn bomber came in. That was a funny part. I couldn't catch out the name. I took a screenshot, but I couldn't see it. But yeah, that's how I knew, because I was in there and I was like, Scotty, what the hell's going on? And then I got kicked. So that's my proof. That's my evidence of what happened.
That forehead is the bomber.
Yes. Let me see if I can.
Oh, that forehead there.
I'm scared to ask, but what does
Let's-
Scotty Storm have in front of his bits?
I think it's like workout gloves or some stupid shit, which is ironic
It's
because he don't look
phone.
like he's. Is
That's
it?
his phone. How you think he took the picture in the mirror?
Mm.
It's his,
Oh,
it's his
but he has
phone.
workout gloves on too.
Right,
So.
the only thing he seems to be wearing is
Trying to take
weightlifting
out
gloves,
my-
and then he's holding his phone.
I don't.
So he's not
Taking
just
pictures.
self-righteous, arrogant.
So,
he's
so
also
did,
young.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Did
a
you-
girlfriend, a professional
Yeah.
photographer girlfriend took his picture.
No. He took that picture of himself with that
You're
phone
running out.
in a mirror.
Okay, so
Absolutely
I'm
At
gonna.
the gym. It's too small. I'm on the iPad.
Okay, so you guys, I need you guys to go to the watch page now. If you guys want to see this, because what you guys are looking at now is so Scotty tells me that that basically and not to mention the whole stream, he keeps sharing his link, so I don't feel guilty at all about that. That's his stupidity. I actually had to at one point teach him how to fucking share, and I told him to use the applications. He don't listen. But better yet, he goes into this rant about how Soundly's stuff has been debunked, and I'm like, I want to see this. Yeah, you guys definitely got to go to the watch page because I actually got two different sounds on there. That's why it was weird. He says that Soundly's been debunked, and he has proof. So he actually gets the link from the guy you guys see in that bottom of the chat area, and he shows me this.
Now, if you can see.
Okay, so right off the bat, when I saw this, what I did is I went and I uploaded it my damn self, or went to it myself, but I'm not sure if you guys can see a better picture of it.
No.
Right there. Okay, or you guys can't see, but I wanted you guys to hear it as well, but it's fine if you guys don't. Hang on. Now we'll go to this one. Okay, now you guys will be able to see what I'm talking about at least.
I can
That'll
see.
Okay.
I can see
So-
the
Yeah, so you guys
power
see
lines or something. Yeah.
Yeah, see those power lines? Do you notice anything odd about those power lines?
They're straight.
It's nice CGI.
Well,
Somebody's played with
anything super noticeable about this image? I'll pull up the link in a second, or I'll pull up the video in a second so you guys can see.
The pylons, the bottom part is like brighter, no?
Yes,
The wrong one.
exactly. The whole pylon, the whole tower, each for the first three are all lit completely, like as if
And
the
then
sun's
they're
hitting
not.
it. And then the fourth one, none of them are. I said, Scotty, there's a problem with your observation. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, why are the first three lit and the rest not? And he
Yeah.
goes, we don't know what the sun is. Huh? He says, we don't know what the
Really?
sun
Did you answer that?
Oh, yeah,
That
that was his answer. I said, well, forget it. Okay, it doesn't have to be the sun. It could be anything, but it's a light source that lights those towers up. But the fourth, fifth, and the rest of them, not even a little bit. And we can tell that that light source is going to be off to the side because the shadow that is casted on it. But here's another problem. Why isn't there shadows casted in the water?
CGI. It looks.
It is CGI.
Fake
That's completely made up.
Now,
course
this,
it is.
now you guys won't be able to hear
This
it.
is how low they're stooping right now.
Well, it was pretty bad because
Those are the wrong pylons.
Well, here's the thing. I told him. I explained everything I just showed you guys. I explained this to him, and he was not convinced. Hang on one second.
Well, he's an idiot. And move on.
It's obviously fake because there's no waves around and round about the bits that are lit up. They're just
No, it
kind
looks
of
like a
sitting
night.
on the water,
Yeah.
aren't they? It's tiny for me, but I'm saying they just look as if they're sitting on top of the water.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it was
South Park's way
insanely
more
obviously
realistic.
to me.
Fake.
I'm gonna go ahead and play it so everyone. You guys got to go to the watch page if you want to hear it. But I'm gonna play it because you guys can hear what Scotty says about it.
Okay.
I shall mute so there'll be no background noise.
I farted.
Okay, there you go. Okay, now first of all, I'll stop. Okay, now first of all, I've seen the footage before, and obviously proves that the lake on the other, you can see the beach on the other side. But the thing is, the reason why it doesn't really matter because you haven't claimed that Pontchartrain is a proof for curvature, have you?
No.
Exactly.
I'm looking at it right now.
Congratulations.
Yeah. But what it does is I've looked at it before. It shows you the beach on the other side, and the thing is, people balls are trying to claim that it actually proves curvature, and the reality of the situation is at 120,000 feet, in my opinion, there's no curvature, so it debunks it anyway outright. But you're not making the claim that there's curvature anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I'll show it anyway. And thanks. I know.
People
Cheers
are
for
saying
that.
there's no sound.
I do. At 120,000 feet, it's still no curvature. So that image, even if it did show curvature, it wouldn't matter. And that curvature actually shows you to the beach on the other side. So that means it's flat. How about our clockwise stars? Actually, Joshua says, "How about our clockwise stars?" Actually, Josh, our stars actually go to east. Actually rotate east to west. It doesn't matter where you are on the Earth. The stars rotate east to west. So I know about the clockwise stars. Well, the clockwise stars are exactly what I would assume on the flat Earth. That they travel to the clockwise spin to east to west.
Can you just pause it for a second?
Doesn't matter
Sean?
where you are on the Earth. And
I have one really quick question. How do you stay in a room with that guy with that voice? Carry on.
Yeah.
I lower the volume.
Cool.
Oh, okay. So the whole time I'm talking to him, after like the first 5 minutes, so imagine I got my desk, I got my chin in one hand, and I got the mic to my side. I'm just randomly answering questions and just going. I'm just. It's it was so bad. You'll hear the. I felt like it was confusion because I couldn't understand what the hell he was seeing and why he didn't realize how retarded he sounded in this situation.
people who are saying that the southern hemisphere has a different pole. Number one, there is no south.
Did you guys got a question.
Go ahead.
Towers also changed in the middle of it too. So I'm watching the video. Hang on.
Yeah, I noticed it. It looks proper CGI, man.
There's
Like, it looks
all
like
sorts
the
of-
video's been doctored so much, man.
I'm looking at. It's not the original because I found it on Martin D. Met Doubles, and he's saying it's mirrored from Johnny Oops. But if you actually look at it, that very start, it couldn't look more fake if it fucking tried.
That's not
One
all
of
right.
the, if you go further up the line of pylons, there's one in the middle,
can you
just
see it?
almost at the horizon.
Give me a
It's lit as
second.
well.
So you're gonna make a
Wow.
commitment,
screenshot,
Sean, and commit to making a
Oh,
claim about
yeah,
this
I can
piece
say-
of footage that you presented?
How come those?
Oh, this shit is fake as fuck. If
the sun hitting
if
it?
you guys gotta go to the watch page because I tell them it's fake.
Well, I can't really confirm
What's
or
your
deny the sun's
position
hitting
here,
it.
Zoe?
But like I said, when
Yeah,
you
I think it's
when you see footage
Fake
of
is
the
fake.
other side, like, because I've seen footage,
You
and,
see
and this is
fake
also
too.
footage of on the beach on the other
Jose,
side,
what you-
it
what-
would mean it's
what you
flat.
say?
There's no curvature.
Wait, hang on. Well, you don't think that's the sun doing that?
The sun, what are making
Actually,
making it out to be that
if you
it's
look
actually
at it,
curvature, not actually. What
Sorry,
we,
my
about
wife was
24
You see the
minutes
first
in,
three, how
it
the
actually
whole
looks
thing
like
is
at the
lit
end
by
it's
the sun.
curving up, not down.
yes, I can see it.
Why aren't the rest?
Then it's settled. Yeah, just concave.
Well, I don't know. You're right. The sun, I guess.
Why aren't they lit up? Why don't they have the same amount of sun hitting them?
I don't know. Maybe the sun's not right in the right position to hit them all. Maybe it's
Then
not.
how is it hitting the tops and the bottoms of those first three, but the fourth one no, fifth one no, and then the rest nothing at all? I would
I don't
almost
know.
say, and there's no shadow of those either. That's
Well, to be
kinda weird.
fair, I've seen footage of somebody actually doing the same thing, and there's been actually beach on the other side, without any of this stuff. It was different. It was actually from an Australian as well, believe it or not, who actually debunked this a long time ago. Probably like 16 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. But like I said, I didn't take any of the footage. I can't confirm or deny any of the results really.
I think I know. Shared a link with edited and doctored footage. I'm gonna say that the rest of those phone
What are
line
you guys
things,
doing?
from number 4, all the way the rest are computer
I was
generated.
AFK for 5 minutes. Is everybody gone?
Okay, that's a big claim. I would
Yep.
think.
I was taking
Well,
Huge
it's
claim, or the 3 are.
well, to be fair, it's less effort to not computer generate than to computer generate, isn't it?
Then can you explain the first 3 and then the rest of them not looking
Are you sure you
anything
want
like
that
them?
person?
Well, it looks flat to me. I haven't.
Again, this is not Scotty. This isn't real.
Stop trolling me.
Well, I could say when you have footage of this actually showing curvature, when 120,000 feet show curvature, I could say exactly the same thing to you.
No.
What
There's a
happened to
difference.
this meetup,
Let's
dude?
talk about
There's no
this.
difference.
Let's talk about the video
This is a flat
that you
earth
just
meetup?
showed me as evidence for flat Earth.
At least sound.
I'm telling you now.
Maybe it's
The
shown in the
link that
watch
someone
page.
shared
You
with
should be
you,
talking.
and then you decide to use, is computer edited and not real. Sorry.
Yeah, but you being in my opinion the controlled opposition, I would expect you to say exactly those words.
Okay, then I ask, why are the first 3 lit up by the sun or a light, but the rest aren't?
Well, like I said, I don't think that really proves either way what you're saying. And number one,
Yes,
I
it
didn't.
says that the sun isn't hitting those other ones because one of either the first 3 or the rest of them are fake, and not this image that you're looking at is not real, unless you can explain to me that phenomenon that that I'm trying to understand.
Well, number one, like I said, I didn't take the footage.
I know you didn't. I didn't say you did it.
I don't-
That's why I'm
Yeah,
saying. That's why
I
I'm
don't-
saying,
I
Scotty.
don't know either way, but
Mhm.
the sun, the reason why
Okay.
you can see 3 points to the sun, I don't know what the sun is or how the sun works.
Okay, but would you say that this footage should not count because you can't say, but I feel that. Wait, better yet, you can't definitively say the sun is lighting those 3 up and why it's not lighting the other ones up. Therefore, this probably isn't a good idea for evidence for yourself.
Well, it could be because maybe the sun's at a point where it's only lighting 3 things up.
Well, I'm gonna say, look, I'm gonna say that the sun isn't directly in line with them because I can see the shadows that are casting to the right, which means the sun is going to be to the left of that object, which means we should see sun along at least the left side of most of those, especially because the third one is fully lit up by that apparent whatever.
Wait, so give me a second. Well, number one, I don't have a wait. Give me a link to join. I'm gonna fuck this, dude. Well, okay, give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Give me.
All right, so I won't kill everyone listening to that whole damn thing, but yeah, those are the type of things that I had a conversation with Scotty about. I'm gonna try to find the other one because apparently Scotty is able to healed his dog. I guess I don't know. Not really sure how that worked, but yeah, he healed his dog.
Is Scotty the guy that released a video debunking evolution in 1 minute and like 40 seconds or something?
Probably sounds like about how he talks.
Do you know? I'm just looking at the original of this from Johnny Oops, and right at the very start, you don't even have to play the video. At the very start, the first 3 pylons are lit.
Yep.
Then they're all dark. When you get about halfway down,
one's lit.
One's lit. That's where I think because if you actually look at the pylons just before that lit bit, it looks like they're starting to curve down. And I think that's where they're spliced in.
Did I not just say the one at the horizons?
You did.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Go me.
pull the original one up right now.
Maybe if we say Stingray 3 times, he'll appear.
No, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Stingray.
No. Why? What did I do wrong?
Stingray.
I'm gonna have Scotty come in here.
Just do not say slick. Then he will definitely appear.
Stingray.
Stingray.
I just can't believe you had to debate him about that fucking video, man. It just seems asinine to even suggest that that's concrete evidence or proof or real.
Well, I think you've just summed up the flat Earth, haven't you?
Well, the worst part, like the part
man.
Yeah, the funny part was the fact
the reason why you do this, Sean, is so that young people don't get persuaded into believing such a ridiculous thing.
Oh yeah, because that video, I'm pulling it up right now. The one I was playing, where everyone's getting this link from, that video has 2,800 views, and most of the comments are pretty much saying, it's totally debunked, and I'm going, are you kidding me? Like, how do you?
The same people that watch these 3 a.m. challenges and all this stuff, and they're going to be watching that, and they're going to believe it because they're not going to be educated otherwise. So I do understand why we need to talk about flat Earth, but with that guy, I just think you're just wasting your time with him, mate.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I went on only because he was on, and it was an opportunity to try to have a decent conversation. I mean, like I said, there was no yelling. He didn't do that weird squeal he does, so I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it started off pretty. It was so the beginning of this whole Hangouts. I was in the chat. I just said what's up to everyone, and then I started getting coaxed by the chat, and he said, what was he saying? Oh, he was saying I asked him about lunar eclipses, and he brought up the Solarian one. I think that's how you say it. And I went, okay, let's talk about the 90% of the other eclipses that can't be explained by flat Earth at all. And then, he goes on his whole show me proof things. I said, I'll show you evidence. So when I got on his panel, the first thing out of his mouth was, you're an agent. I went, okay, where's the evidence?
Yeah, it always falls back to you're an agent, or you're a shill, or it's fake. And they just say it's fake.
But the thing is, he lives in Australia. Tell him to go outside and take a photograph of Polaris.
Yeah,
you can.
Simple.
Oh, he'll have a
Well, even if the Earth was flat, with a powerful enough telescope, you should be able to bring the sun back into view anywhere on Earth if it was flat.
Well, no, you got to remember that the thickness of the atmosphere and reasons mean you can't.
Oh yes, reasons, of
Don't
course.
forget reasons.
I told
There's
him.
always a
Yes.
Yeah, I told him right
bloody
away.
reason.
The first thing I said to him was, I've lost my train of thought. I told him right away.
I am the flat Earth. Earth is flat.
Yeah,
Take
well,
a picture of Polaris from Australia. Come on.
oh, okay. Now I remember. So I said,
At least he
Unfortunately-
discredits the people who believe Australia
Freeman.
doesn't exist.
oh well, that's the thing. He actually doesn't like Nathan very much. He had actually we agreed on a lot about Nathan. I started going through the whole how he's a snake oil salesman, narrative doesn't change, and Scotty agreed. He said, "Yeah, it's a problem." Then all this stuff started. We started talking about all this shit, and he was like, "I was like, well, if this video is your proof of it being flat, and obviously it's not real, obviously,
No, it's not.
what would you say?" And he goes, it's flat. So I showed him another observation. B-ball for life. He had taken some drone footage, and what I like to do when people show me balloon footage or drone footage, I usually take screenshots while they're doing it. And what I do is I ended up taking this B-ball screenshot. I think he said it was about 100, a little bit higher, 100 feet in the air, and Scotty said, "How high do you have to be to see curvature?" And he said, 100,000. I said, "No." He goes, "Well, how high?" I said, 100 feet. And he went on his little that's bullshit, and I went, "Okay,
You're
let me
the
show
Grass
you."
Tyson says.
And
Yeah.
so what I did is I went on my little Inkscape and drew the straight line across the horizon, and yeah, it was straight, or my line was straight and it was curved. And he goes, I don't see curvature." I went, "Okay, but you see that straight line, and then you see the horizon above that line, that's curvature." And he went on a rant of he doesn't see curvature. I said, "Do you know the difference between a straight line and a curve?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Then I've proven to you that there's curvature in this picture." And he goes, "I don't see curvature." I was so confused the whole time. To me,
It's gradual, you see. It's because we're so bloody small in comparison to the size of the giant planet that we're on. It's like comparing the size of an atom to an apple. Do you know what I mean?
oh yeah.
You ain't
Yeah.
you are not going to be able to, and it's that's what they can't conceive, and it's hard to fathom such sizes, and they can't do that. They just can't get the head. Like if you think about the ISS, if the Earth is the size of an apple, it would be touching the surface of the apple. It wouldn't even be that far out from Earth.
And it's almost to it. What does it say?
I would like if I
ISS
get a
only
chance
sees 3%.
to read a paragraph.
Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Okay, this is a book named "The Earth and Its Shape, Size, Weight, and Spin" from the Cambridge University, 1913. And these first two paragraphs are interesting. I was reading it yesterday. All right, this is the beginning. If we stand on a hilltop on a clear day and look over the lowlands stretching away from below, there is nothing in what we see to suggest that we are on the surface of a globe. There is no appearance that the surface bends down from us as it recedes. Rather, does it seem as if the earth slopes up towards the horizon, and as is the hill rises up in the middle of a shallow cup. When men first began to think about such observations as this, and to consider the shape of the earth, there was no obvious suggestion that they were on a globe. And naturally, perhaps the first idea was that the earth is a flat plain on which the mountains are creases,
Hang on.
flat, permanent in the midst of the waters.
One
I
second.
like
Hang on.
the
Whoa,
reference to
whoa.
my
Hang on.
previous
Stop.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
Go ahead.
1 second. I'm gonna tell you right now, Multi, kiss my ass. You'll never end up on my panel. You're a fucking loser.
He can't come in because I've blocked him.
I just blocked him too. I just denied him. He can't. I don't want him in here.
Yeah, this is a really good book. I read like the first 10 pages and I was so caught up, and then I skip like every 20 pages and read a little bit, and then it comes to a lot of of experiments that we can do from ground level to figure out the shape of the Earth. It's mostly to do with the sun, the moon, the stars, the zenith, the angles, trigonometry.
Yeah,
Really good, really interesting book. Just wanted to share that.
makes sense. Could you post a link to it in the side chat or something, Jose?
Yeah. This. Let me look up. Let me look up the original on the archives, and I show the link. But I don't know if I can share a PDF file.
Should be able to.
Let me try over here on the
Don't
minutes.
see why not.
Let's see if
Yeah,
this
just-
works.
Yeah, just pull it up. It'll
I'll
share.
paste it right here. But this is my actual files. I don't know. I don't think.
It's alright, that'll do. We'll confide from that. Thank you.
Let's see if this works.
That
All right, luckily, we'll be able to, when I'll show you guys this,
Might
and then
not work.
you'll be able to see what I was talking about. So, you know, like I said, the b-ball picture, the same way I showed you on this one, you don't see curvature, but with a tool, then you do see the curvature.
Ooh, that's a bit bendy.
Yeah, but somehow with a tool you need to see curvature.
Yeah, so I'll just narrate to you guys, see what's going on. So in this, I'm explaining to him the reason why our eyes don't see curvatures is because our eyes aren't good enough to see it. And for that, for instance, in this picture, we need tools, instruments to be able to see curvature at such a, at this height, in this distance.
Yeah, because the Earth is very, very, very big.
Yep. And so I explained to him the same way you can't tell that there's curvature, but when we use an instrument, for instance, I use Inkscape to draw that straight line across the horizon, and you can see the land or the horizon above the line. And I'm explaining this to him, and he goes, "Well, if you need tools to see it, it's not there." Yeah, he just refused the whole time.
Huge. They just don't understand how bloody big it is.
Yeah, they don't understand scale, and it's basically that, really. Stupidity, man, and
Yeah,
narrow-mindedness. I'd like to say, actually, not
I
stupidity.
literally live 1 minute from the sea, and I look out at the sea, and it's flat. I can only see, not even 1 degree, like 0.3 or something. It's so huge, you can't see it.
Yeah,
not even from 120,000 feet in one of those balloons.
No, exactly.
It's still not even scratching the surface, man.
Well, that's the thing. That
I mean, if
go ahead.
If we were 60 foot tall as humans and walking as giants on this earth and made crafts miles long, then maybe we would be able to get a different reference point, but unfortunately we're just very, very fucking tiny little
Insignificant little
fleshy
ants.
pieces of consciousness. Ants. Yeah, we're talking about ants. We're actually very socially connected, like ants, very social creatures, and we work like the same,
Now, some of us are.
Interesting creatures, they are,
Some of us are.
Yeah, fire ants.
Even
the flat earther ants. I mean,
well, I've already said this
workers.
before. I consider Scotty to definitely be the last, the last person you would ever take as knowledgeable.
I think something happened to him in his life.
Pushing it mildly.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure the words I wanted to say.
Yeah, like so.
I just tell them they better quit trying to expose the lizard people, otherwise they're going to come and suck their brains out, eat them.
Does he believe in that?
All right, David Icke.
I wouldn't doubt it.
All hail our lizard overlords.
David Icke, don't even bring
reptilian
David Icke
shapeshifters.
Who's David? Who's David?
David Icke.
David Icke.
No clue.
He was a football player, and then he got arthritis, I believe, and then he went and smoked some. No, he took some ayahuasca, and then realized that the world was taken over by reptilians, and what is it? Space reptilian shapeshifters that are our leaders, and they are brainwashing us with televisions and
the royal family.
Yeah,
he actually went on a very, very, very prominent British television show, Terry Wogan show,
Jesus,
show, and spouted all this nonsense. So it went bye bye.
Oh wow.
And he's
yes.
he's still in the community now
Oh,
talking
he's
about it.
raking in
still today.
loads of money. He does
He
big
gives
conventions.
talks in the auditorium, and he gets
Yeah.
thousands of people to come
He
and listen
makes
to him.
It's like
millions out of
David
it.
Wilcock as well. David Wilcock, he used to be a comedian, right? And then he started pretending that he was getting signals from space aliens, and he played that for a bit, and then now he's with this Gaia subscription thing where they get you to pay monthly, and they just talk shit. They're all mouthpieces, and they're just conning people who are interested in woo-woo science.
Yeah, that pops up in the Amazon
Yeah,
television.
I've
thing,
seen
doesn't
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it, man.
No.
He also, in our wonderful conversation, Scotty also decided to explain to me how the human gene, like how we are created, is so advanced, is what he said, compared to technology, that we had to have come from a creator. And I tried to explain to him there's a difference between, intelligent design and needing intelligence to design.
Yeah.
Well, the create, like you said it yourself, the intelligence is in the DNA of the molecule or the cells that are reproducing and getting the best traits they can get to survive. I mean, there is intelligence in that. You can't deny that, but there's no create. I wouldn't say there's.
Yeah, well, the way I would put it, or I put it to him actually, would be the technology in itself, our computers, cell phones, because he kept bringing up cell phones and computers. I told him, I said, well, these things don't think, for one. For two, you need intelligence to create them. And he goes, yeah, well, that's intelligent design. No.
But he's never going as far to say that
It's not self-aware, is it, though?
there is a creator, someone created humans. He's never said that.
He alludes to it.
Yeah. He never
it's
said
weird.
there is God.
We
He
gotta
never
remember.
once said that.
He's a Bible thumper. He's one of these that want to make you go, oh, you mean I was created by God? And he'll go, and they'll be like, yes.
He told me. He said everyone in his life are flat earthers, and if they're not, he's pretty much pushed them away. He said if he can't explain to you how it's flat, then he doesn't want anything to do with you, basically, or he considers you an agent.
Arrogance at its finest, man. Just reeks of self-righteousness, man.
I love this, how we're all agents for NASA,
Reasons.
and most of us aren't even bloody American. Come on.
Right.
Well, that's the other thing.
I know, right?
I go. Well, and I asked this to everyone that keeps running that bullshit. What evidence do you have of any of these agents that you keep talking of? And he goes, I couldn't get it. Your government. Then, I mean, how do you have evidence? And he goes, well, you think it's a globe?
It's not think, we know it is.
Yeah.
It just is. For crying out
but I
loud.
did figure out a way to trigger it, Scotty, because he likes to say prove a lot. Like, can you prove this? And what's your proof?
Mm-hmm.
And he gets aggravated because I have trained myself to not say proof.
Evidence.
I don't have proof. I only have evidence.
Yep.
And that frustrates the hell out of him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And again,
writing that one down.
I'm kind of talking to the chat now. Again, evolution in the beginning, nothing to do with each other at all.
Nope.
I mean, you can say, it does have a part in it, but the Big Bang,
Eventually.
all that, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Evolution, that's called abgenesis, and that's not evolution. And evolution is you know how things adapt to stuff?
Adaptation.
Well, if you take 1 million adaptations, you equal an evolution.
Agreed.
That's basically what evolution is.
Well, there's evolution, and then there's Darwin's theory of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
There's because it's there's a few things in Darwin's theory. I mean, he said it himself. He discredited a few things, but we've adapted his theory, and now we've explained it
exactly.
in detail.
Well, the way I see it is, he didn't have the technology we have now to to indulge
He didn't know
more
about
into
TNA
it.
or anything like that.
But he was so close, though.
Oh yeah, and well, here's the thing: a lot of people will go, "Well, show me," and it's kind of impossible. or at least I used to think it was, because what ends up happening is there's actually a guy, Frigid, it was on the tip of my tongue. His name's Alan something, but he's a scientist dude. He basically had, or this agent or organization, I guess you would call it, they've been doing a study for the past 70 years of the Italian wall lizards. No? Actually, yeah.
All right.
I know bacteria, the E. coli bacteria they've done this with, but the one I know about is the Italian wall lizards. What they did is they took 2 species of wall lizards and put them on one island. And over this course it's 42 years now, not 40 or 70 or whatever I said. But basically the genetic structure, the bone structure, basically they've changed. Their stomachs are larger. They're instead of only taking in fruit, their bodies have constructed, or basically now they are meat eaters. Their jaws widened out. Their head got bigger.
That's an interesting study, man.
But it actually
it reminds me of a study I saw. Well, it was more of a documentary, and they were showing how they found these fossils of these creatures that adapted, and they had proof of the bones of, I think, 3 or 4 different species that ended up because they were saying, how did this animal become this animal? And they showed you the bone structures and how these weird mutations started, and how they become little flappers and then became longer flaps, and then feet, and then arms, and do you know what I'm saying? And I'll try and find it in the future and share it.
It's kind of runs the same. It kind of
but there is still proof. You know how Darwin went to is it Galapagos Islands? Yeah. Well, even now, the finches are changing, and they've watched it. It's in the last 50 years or something.
We're humans. We're fallible. Do you know what I mean? Like we're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes, and we're gonna keep learning and evolving over the age. The problem is, I mean, there was a time back in the 18th century, in the 19th century, where we believed we was at the height of all science.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was written about like we've hit the point of no more advancement.
Exactly.
And we're just scratching the surface, man. Literally, like the advancements that we're going to be making, we're just going to keep getting larger and larger and more advanced.
And now we're all walking about with
until we destroy ourselves.
Well, one of the big things that I realized that they do is, and this is one of Riley's biggest issues, is he believes that once something is figured out beyond what we know, somehow it's thrown out.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. And I think a lot of flat earthers believe that.
You know that meme you put out at the start of the video, the intro, which said something like, if I knew what I knew back then, what would I know now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's... Go ahead.
I just wonder what genetic mutation resulted in flatards.
I'm thinking...
That's called de-evolution.
Yeah.
How would you say that?
Yeah, yes. De-evolution.
I could tell you what it is
de-evolution, man.
in the UK, but there you go.
For a long time, I don't know. I sort of blame it on Nikon.
Hey, there's more flat earthers in America than the UK.
Yeah, and we keep sending our damn show money to you guys too. That pisses me off.
I said
We'd get a lot more money if we didn't have to send it to you guys. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I'm sorry, mate. I know I need to get me hours back up, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know where my money's got to. It must have got lost somewhere.
Damn it.
Farmer boy, I think I got your check sent to me.
Oh shit! Send it on, will you?
I'll send it to your PO box, pal.
Hey, if I've started talking on these things, can I be a shell?
Do you want to be a shell?
Yes.
I'll get you an application form.
Okay, thank you.
It's very basic and very formal.
I'm just a stay-at-home. I'm just a stay-at-home mum, so yeah.
That's perfect. You'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Any extra pennies?
Yep. $13,000 a week we'll pay you.
US dollars.
US dollars, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll do. I can convert that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's cool. Yeah, we'll give you some merchandise, some flat Earth
No
shirts to
problem.
sell.
Cool.
Now, we're gonna go into a fun subject. I don't know. You guys don't have to touch into it, but everyone's been talking about it, and I kind of wanted to talk about it. And
I thought we were having fun.
Oh, we are.
It's bacon. What Sean is going to talk about.
Come
What I
on,
wanted to do is I
Sean,
wanted to talk
come
about 9/11. I haven't had my opportunity
no,
yet.
please.
I just shared a video, Sean, in
But it
the
was
thing.
bacon.
Huh?
It's timestamped. It's inside Building 7 right before it collapsed.
I've got a quick comment about
I
9/11
wanna see
that
that.
might just make you
Where?
There's no,
awareness.
it's just two guys, a reporter and a fireman running through the building. There's no violence or death. It's just the building
Right.
and the way
That's
it
what
looked
the
right before it
subject-
collapsed. And the camera guy, the reporter, and a fireman escaping.
And lots
I'm
of
gonna-
alarms.
Subject
Hindsight.
No death,
subject
no
wise,
nothing.
As a Brit, I'm out.
Hindsight is 2020, man. That's what I've got to say
I'm
about.
out because a Brit, I
9/11.
have no idea about it, so I'm
Fair
not going to
enough.
discuss this. So I'm going to mute. Okay.
Go ahead and
Back
share
to the-
this.
I'd like to say I seen a video on some news channel where they discovered an aircraft part
No, hey,
like 12 or 17 years later in between two buildings that they never searched.
Oh, that was the bit of undercarriage, I think, wasn't it? If I remember
Yeah.
The
rightly.
BBC report a tower falling before it fell behind them.
Yeah.
Pete tried to come in here. I'm not having Pete. You're not allowed to have this conversation.
The
you'll
video's
trigger me.
compilation video. Sean saw
There's an explanation for
Hang on,
that
hang on.
report before it fell.
Yep.
on that video's a compilation, so I did try to timestamp.
And I believe the
for you.
Pentagon plane was the footage was frame rated. It was very slow, but it looked dark. It looked like a drone to me.
So
about it.
if that
Coupled
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
coupled with
if that television report was transmitted by satellite, that would explain why it was reported before it fell, because
Well, no, 'cause they were in America.
there was several phone calls that were backed up they were just piled up in the satellite and they couldn't transmit down because it was so congested that people were thinking that there was still people, their loved ones were still alive, and they were getting phone calls from people saying that they were fine.
Yeah, there were calls days later.
Wouldn't that be later? Yeah, wouldn't that be? It'd be way after then, wouldn't it? Wouldn't before. It wouldn't happen before.
If it was congested and they reported that it fell and it fell, that wouldn't come out until
They reported it fell. Then it fell
Yes,
a while
I'm thinking
later.
backwards, huh?
But how could that? I mean, it was live, wasn't it? I mean, it was video. It was live.
So okay. So here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize this. The ceiling of Building 7 collapsed before the building did. You guys are aware of this, right?
Yep.
So the reports that we're going to pull it, they were not going to try to save it no longer. They were not going to put water on it. They were not going to send anyone in. They were pulling everyone out. That is what they were saying about the Tower 7. Now, everyone can go, oh, the narrative this, narrative that. That has nothing to do with it. The realization that people think that they set these bombs off is insane. Because understand something. The shock charges that they use to take buildings down work in a certain way. And they don't work the same way as the compression of a building blowing out windows.
No, there was planted on the weak spots of the girders that would destroy the structural integrity of the building.
Right, I'm going to play this video while we're talking.
So hold on, Sean. So because I had the sentence in my brain structured right, but because of the alternative being bombs and explosive went out, and you say it cannot happen because X or Y reason, therefore official narrative is right. Is that what you're saying, or is it another alternative?
Oh, no.
Because
I'm saying,
I don't know. It didn't sound right to me.
Here's the thing. So there's what they said, and then what reality calls. This building.
They found ionized particles, which could only be caused by thermite.
No, see, the thing is they didn't, and what they didn't tell you is the thermite that was found there was from the plasma torches that were needlessly trying to free people. It had nothing to do with those buildings themselves. they showed at least 3 or 4 struts. You know, the pieces, the main braces of the steel columns that were cut straight lines. They're not telling people that's, you don't, when you're cutting a piece of steel away to try to get into somewhere, you don't cut at the bend, you cut further down on it, right? Those are cut lines from them trying to get deeper into the building, because that was a twisted mangled of steel.
That would make sense then. I mean, I watched a video of a guy.
That's pretty much the end of Building 7 in this video.
He would mix these chemicals together on a girder in a little container in his back garden, and he would show through the explosion how it would ignite and how it could cause these lines being cut in the girder. And that was very convincing, but I never considered, well, I never looked it up actually. I never knew they were trying to cut the way in.
So there's another potato and mainstream puppet in the chat, Astro Rex, that because he said, you know how retard is because the interior excavation required for a demolition is huge. So because he cannot grasp that it could be something else besides just a regular good old controlled demolition. Astro Rex, you are mainstream.
Wait, Jose.
Puppet, bro.
You understand that, like, I mean, what it takes to implode a building on itself, not implode, but use explosives for an
so because
to
when people say
it
looks like implosion, so when people hear implosion or explosion, they think it's going to be set up exactly the same way that we all know throughout history on the presented and studied explosions, right? Because they are going to tell us, oh yeah, this is the way it was set up. So
yes,
you think we're going to be told that they didn't use a different technique?
No, they couldn't have, because here's the thing. There's a certain way to set devices onto a building to make the whole building fall. You can't they don't just throw detonate or explosives in there and then detonate it and then the whole building happens to fall. It takes skill.
Yeah, but this is, I think,
profession to do that. And Tower 7 or Building 7 didn't explode out because either they had to have done a controlled demolition, which is when it sits on itself and it explodes and falls into itself all nicely, or it's going to explode out, and that's not what happened. So they either had to have done it. They either have had to have done it correctly, or not have done it. Because if they just threw bombs in there and blew it up, kind of would have been a mess.
They say, yeah, we're not going to do it right because it might go wrong, right? So some building might explode and fucking collapse, bro.
Okay,
Come on.
So then what would be the evidence behind that? Behind what you're saying?
Oh, I'm just saying, you guys can continue your damage control over here. I mean, I'm just
not damage control
with a bad broken English, bro.
Well, it's not damage control, because what you would be doing right now is damage control. You were convinced they blew that building up, so now you're trying to give any explanation you can for it, except for the reality of how it would work.
A planned demolition. That's the only way it would have worked if.
Yep. I'm just a Puerto Rican dude with a broken English trying to put a sentence
well,
together,
calm down,
but I cannot get it out apparently. So therefore, Jose is wrong, right? Okay, it's all right.
No, Jose, can't just calm down.
What?
Calm down.
What the hell did you just do?
And articulate yourself.
I just got done talking to Scotty all night. Your English is fucking great.
He's bloody Australian. He's actually supposed to take. Anyway, Jose, I kind of tend to agree with you. So just okay, stay.
Now here's the thing.
I'm muting again.
Now, if you're taking the
before you go, shout out to Astro Rex calling me retard. Go ahead.
So if you're going to take on with the conspiracy narrative, I guess you would call it, you would have to then explain the footage of the roof caving in long before the actual building itself caved in. Because again, if it was any kind of demolition, they would put these things on the struts, the supports of the building, so that way it would fall. And then again, why would they need to blow the building up? There was an extreme fire that ran through it, or pretty much destroyed everything anyway, right?
No. Shawn.
Yep.
What is your opinion? Was it a conspiracy, or did some silly fuckers grab a plane mid-flight and just crash the fuckers?
It was a false flag.
The,
they had intelligence that it was going to happen. I believe that they used it to then invade the Middle East.
That was a great answer, because I was leading to that. I was going to ask you the bigger question is, why did they do this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just like in history before, when they've had false flag events to engage in war.
Yep.
You know, and I guess with that knowledge, Shawn, you know about the 5-country consistency plan that they had to take out Syria, Libya, Afghanistan, Iraq, and ending in Iran.
And a lot of people. What a lot of people didn't know about was the fact that in this time period, Saddam was under a bunch of sanctions by the U.S. So what Saddam was going to do, he kept threatening. Well, first of all, there are actually documents that show that Saddam was saying, "Come and inspect all my anywhere you want." Like, you know how we kept saying there's weapons of mass destruction and he won't let us. Yeah, there's documents showing that him saying come and inspect them. The other problem is that he was threatening, because we had those tariffs. He said if we don't lift them, he was going to take his oil and not use the U.S. dollar for trade with that oil, which would be a big which would be a big hit to the United States.
Yep.
Big.
He was going to create his own currency, along with Gaddafi as well. Gaddafi, and that's why they killed Gaddafi.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of people like I said. So here's the thing. Let me just kind of give a base. I think it's a false flag. I took steps to look for the reasons why before I looked at the reasons how. Those planes hit that building. It is more than possible for those planes to have hit the building, the fires to have ensued, and those buildings to have gone down without demolition.
No, see, I don't get that.
Okay. So here's the thing.
I can't see
I'm on the fence
there. Okay.
Shawn,
can't see
yes.
Shawn, I just posted a video. It's timestamped. This is something you have to listen to. Listen to it. Don't go past 3:39. Okay. So start at the timestamp is like 1:52, I think, and then go to 3:39. I mean, if you're going to show it, don't go past that point, because then you're going to see other things. But it's for the sound that you hear, because you're going to hear the plane fly, but you're not going to see.
Is this for Shawn, or is this for?
You're going to have to be in the watch page.
No, is it just for Shawn to watch, or will I watch it?
Everybody can watch it if you want to see. It's just more footage. It's just more footage of some guy on a cell phone recording on the day.
Yes, so I just can't get my head around it, so I would like. Okay. I'm going to watch it. Okay.
All right. So if you want to hear it, you guys got to
But this is for the sound. You'll hear the plane come in and hit the building and then you'll see. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
No, I can't hear anything. Hang on.
Okay, so I mean, realistically, the only thing I could think of is between the engine sounds and it coming between buildings, or as you don't hear it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I could explain for it.
Well, you hear the, you know what I mean? You hear the plane coming in.
Oh yeah. It's in. You can hear the engines.
There's other footage of people from different locations watching the plane and saying, "Hey, what the fuck's this plane doing? It shouldn't be flying in like weird formations." Before the crash happened, the footage that came out, and you can hear the sounds in the same plane.
I heard the whoosh boom.
Yep. And
if it was if it was a bomb or a missile that went off, you wouldn't have heard that sound.
Yeah, it wouldn't make the same sound.
I heard a whoosh of a plane and the boom.
A missile wouldn't have made a sound, and a bomb wouldn't have needed to make that sound before it blew up.
Okay, so
it was a jet
no,
plane.
but Shawn,
whoosh,
I
boom.
definitely think you're definitely onto something there, like going to figure out what's behind the reason, and I think it leads to the point where there's that America have become a pawn in this war between factions that's going on. And
when I started looking into this, I noticed something right away. I moved away from the buildings as quick as I could. I didn't want to talk about. But this way, I've had many of debates.
Were you there, Shawn?
And no. I'm on the West Coast.
Okay.
But I do have a strange tie to this. I'll explain that in a second. When I started looking into this, and I to myself felt it was a false flag, I realized right away I can't talk about the buildings. In my debates with this, I don't talk about the buildings at all. I don't talk about the recovery. None of that, because none of it even matters as far as what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go into it, everything the media has told us and everything the 9/11 report said was true. I mean, there's so many holes in that it's insane. But the biggest things, the things that I noticed were things like, for instance, the plan that they had, 5 different countries. The tariffs that we had on Saddam and Saddam's threats to stop using the U.S. petrol. Here's another kicker. 2 months prior to 9/11, the top investors or stockholders, of Delta sold all their stock.
Yep.
And
a lot of people didn't go to work that day. Very important people.
All these things are documented. This isn't just makeup. That as well. There were numerous calls the day before calling out without a reason. Now, I don't use those ones, but it's good to say because those
the memo like Condoleezza Rice had.
Yeah, those are different factors. And the memo of how can we ensue the American people for us to go to war and in the Middle East. Well, you can't say that could have been some other explanation. I mean, they've talked about that with Operation Northwoods. They did that at Pearl Harbor. Go ahead.
No.
Do you think this is a big conspiracy to go and fucking bomb Saddam? Come on.
Yes.
It's much deeper than that.
Yeah. I believe they did it.
Seriously, they killed their own people.
If it's all in all, no, they didn't. If it's all in all, I think
they just allowed it to happen.
It's more about the borders that they wanted.
You're kidding.
Hmm?
I'm not kidding. No, they allowed it to happen. Yeah, so they turned a blind eye.
So do you know what Operation Northwoods is?
I have no idea. I just thought, some terrorists bombed it.
There was only a few people that knew it was going to happen, and they turned a blind eye.
Did you
know that?
Go ahead.
This is news to me. I'm sorry. This is weird.
Pip,
I've known about it a long time, but I've never talked about it with anyone because no one's ever spoke about it before.
No, because I never even thought about it before.
Have you ever heard of Operation Northwoods?
No.
Okay, so during the Cuban Missile Crisis that we were having, one of the ideas to ensue war or the American people to be okay with and to start a war with Cuba was they thought maybe we should send passenger airliner with college students on it and it get blown up and we'll blame it on them and we'll be able to invade Cuba.
Files?
No, I didn't.
Oh, really?
That got released by Donald Trump.
No, I didn't. As far as I know, when I glanced at it, there was so much black writing, it's almost pointless.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more that's not blackened out. They redacted it. Yeah. Well, it was back in November. They released it, and then there was a lot of stuff that was blacked out, and they was trying to delay it. And Donald Trump was like, no, just give it out. So a lot of stuff didn't get redacted.
Well, I have to say, if anything Trump puts out, I would not believe any. But that's beside.
Well, it wasn't him. He didn't put it out. He just said you have to release it, and they, he's not the guy who. He's just the guy who gave the word.
Then there's Pearl Harbor. A lot of people didn't know about that. Pearl Harbor, we had intel that we knew there were Japanese planes in the sky on their way.
Yeah.
We knew that.
Yeah. The Japanese had a lot to play in World War I and World War II. And if it wasn't for the Chinese having a 14-year war with them, constant thousands of skirmish battles, a lot of Europe would have been Japanese.
It's here's the reality of it. When the government has a plan, or the government feels they need something to happen, in my opinion, collateral damage is collateral damage. They don't.
I'd like to add, though, by the way.
Go ahead.
Pip Parrot.
Just Pip.
Pip,
Just call me
sorry.
Pip.
Pip, sorry.
it's
There is
fine.
there is a treaty signed by the American government, and I believe Russian government as well, that I know about, and it says that if you was to do chemical experiments on the population, you can only do it on your own people. You're forbidden to do it on a different nation's people.
Yeah, well, chemical
No. That treaty says not at all.
You said a chemical experiment?
I believe some sort of experiment. It was experimental, something about pulling experiments on the people, and I believe they mentioned chemicals in there. Shawn, correct me if I'm wrong. Then.
Well, I'm gonna look into it because I'm not. I don't want to.
I don't know.
I'm not really 100% sure on it.
This is what I'm hearing today is.
Shawn, look up where Lyme's disease came from.
I've heard about
came from
conspiracy
freaking
theories
ticks,
about
man.
9/11.
Lyme disease happened long before 9/11.
Yeah, but where did the actual
from
disease come from?
I don't want to get into conspiracies about anything, so I kind of tend to switch off.
I did
was
years
kind of
ago.
just listening in, and I thought,
Well, hang on,
that sounds a bit weird.
Because what I want to do before you lose the tangent, I wanted to look at the structure of how it's built, because it plays a huge part in knowing how it fell.
This and I've seen it the other day. We were in a hangout and they were doing about the structurals and how the way such and such, and it worked how it worked. The plane went in.
Well, the thing is that
stuff fell down.
The strongest part of the Twin Towers wasn't the outside; it was the inside, the middle, the center structure of it, right?
Yeah, and apparently there's another big conspiracy that somebody'd been inside and planting naphtha and blah blah blah.
Let me try to find the.
Yeah, I've seen
walls.
it. It's like, come on, you're just digging for stuff.
It was because the walls aren't as structurally sound as people keep making them sound. Matter of fact, anything, especially moving at 500 to 600 miles an hour, would do straight without even trying. Let's see, I just saw one with the panels on it.
We did this for hours and hours and hours the other night in, I think maybe it was Stringray. I can't remember. It was Dean's hangout, and he had a model and how the planes would hit this and this and how this would work.
Well, this is the thing that I don't think anybody is taking into account. I mean, hopefully they were, but you can see these slats that they're installing one by one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why that airliner was able to penetrate it like it did. They act like that, like the World Trade Center. The walls were solid concrete, solid steel. That plane was able to penetrate that building like it was nothing.
Yes, of course it did. It's a plane
and
full of jet fuel.
And the plane was going at a consistent speed, quite a fast velocity, enough to penetrate that building for sure.
And then there's a side conspiracy that people had planted naphtha.
Say what?
The hell? People had been in there for weeks.
But that's the thing. They took and see what they did is they took what they see in controlled demolitions when they start blowing out, they blows out windows and stuff.
Yeah.
They took the compression. When the buildings fell and it had that compression and it was blowing out windows, they took that as demolition, but it actually doesn't work that way, because what you would see is that blowout before the building falls, because it would start from the bottom up. And the issue with how could it have fallen is the fact that those buildings burn for hours. The steel does not have to melt. All the steel has to do is weaken, which is exactly what it did. In the first 10 stories were weak. They weren't structurally sound, and they're sitting on top of other steel that's now heating up and burning because there's fire throughout the whole damn thing.
It's going to fall down.
And once it collapses it just bends in on itself.
So how the hell is that a conspiracy? I don't understand that. A plane went into a building, the building fell down.
It's what happened afterwards, and connecting the dots in hindsight that it makes sense,
But
but
are
there's a
you,
lot
are
of
you
things you have to look
connecting
at.
dots that aren't needing to be connected?
Well, it's you.
Just
Well,
a
you could
question.
you could
The
say
dots
that,
need
but
to be connected.
well, it makes sense. It makes sense when you. Well, I see what you're trying to say. I see what you're trying
I'm
to
trying
say.
to say a plane
But
hit a building or
if you
two
find it
buildings,
looking for a
three
pattern, you'll
buildings.
find one.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel
And-
convenient,
You're
really
all
quick,
being-
to
Sorry,
give a big shout out to Pishe in the chat. He's keeping it real over here. People cannot hand the rage of the P. Boom. Shout out to Pishe. Aristarchus.
Okay, piss off, Pip.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about what PJ has to say about
Piss off.
9/11.
Anyway.
There's a lot of abuse in the chat right now as well.
I'm gonna let them do whatever they want.
Chat.
Hey, it's free reign in there. I don't care.
Don't abuse me. I'm just trying to. I cannot get my head around this. Plane.
Connect
One.
the dots. La 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 la.
Thank you, Chana.
I hate to do that for
Love you.
Astro Rex. I hate to do it. Shout out to Astro
Yeah.
Rex.
It's the after stuff. Yeah. Plane. Pentagon. Planes
Well-
flew in.
Well, and here's the other kicker. A lot of
Shit
people.
fell down.
Oh, yep.
Sorry.
Well, here's.
Yeah,
people
and then the
look-
plan started to fall into place, didn't it? Then the war started happening, and then
But then
look where
that's
we're at
another
now.
conspiracy.
No.
Well,
And that's,
yeah, but
that's
here's the-
American. That's nothing to do with
but
us.
but the
Right,
but,
what's
the, but
happening
it was
with us right now? Going to start about that.
but it was what's happening now was predicted and foretold in documents from the CIA anyway. It was a plan they had.
What, 3 days ago, they found a big tanker full of
3 days ago.
oil. I'm talking about right now.
Oh, right
The
now.
Royal Navy's been deployed and found a big oil tanker full of bloody crude oil. Talk about that.
I'm not familiar with that, right?
Well,
but
you're,
that
you're
information.
British, aren't you?
I'm very British indeed.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Are you
and
actually
Don't you
British?
know?
Hey guys,
Jolly good.
the other things like
I am
Apparently-
no steel structure has ever collapsed due to a fire.
This is
Bullshit.
true.
But apparently,
No, that's not
shit's
true.
happening.
It's not true at all.
Shit
Happens
all
is
the
time.
happening right now.
Right now.
with-
Right.
Dude, I just
I didn't
gave you
say
a
right
great
now, I'm not
video,
Irish.
Sean G.
Sorry.
That lists 10 things that
Irish?
people say are
Irish.
weird about 9/11. None of them include victims or buildings, how the buildings fell. They're all other things.
Yeah.
It's-
Pip
Oh, I'd like
feel
to see that.
comfortable. Pip is taking these places. Hell yeah.
Pip is getting a bit.
I know.
annoyed.
Instead of talking about the video, go ahead, Pip.
Pips on fire.
No. Stop all this conspiracy shit.
Why?
There you go. I don't
See,
think it's the right
here's the-
platform for
well,
you
here's the-
today,
No,
Pip.
I
Well,
can't.
because if
It's-
that's the
it's
way you
so
think,
annoying.
Pip,
No.
but you're kind of
Well, here's the thing, Pip.
obfuscating
No,
of
no,
talking
matters.
about the actual
It-
subject on hand. You're
Hang on.
derailing the discussion. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, Jose.
Well, the reality of it is that we should care because these are the things that are actually
I
happening.
do care. I do, but
Yeah, she's playing, man. She's playing.
I'm not playing.
Look, if you go through that list of 10 things, there's nothing about, you don't have to be like a physicist to understand how buildings should fall or know how to demolish a building.
Oh my
It's
God, no.
Other
I think Sean made a great
things.
point about the when it's demolished, it's from the bottom up, and that just seemed to go over my head in the past, and I never thought about that. And that's not how the towers did fall, did they? They didn't
No.
fall from the bottom up.
No, it went from the top to bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And-
it's a reverse
and-
demolition.
If there were bombs, then
Yeah,
they
but it
were
doesn't work
planted
that
when
way.
it was constructed, right?
And
Doesn't mean it
apparently
can't work
everyone
that
said
way.
they were
No,
bombs.
Just
it,
'cause
it
it
absolutely
didn't.
does. Because if you were to do it that way, the building would have fallen completely different.
I guess I'm
Look,
just naive.
I don't
and
care what
thinking
you
that-
say, dude. 3 times is too much to ask me to believe in.
Really?
Yeah, they have 3 buildings fall exactly the same way and they all experience different things.
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
Two
What were the
towers
different
too
things?
much.
Because they all fell.
There's
There's
due
got to
to
be
something.
there has to be some other common denominator between those 3 buildings.
Yeah,
You honestly
fire.
think your own
jet
government
fuel?
would do that?
My government? No,
Well, we know
I
the
don't know.
government. We know
If it
know
would
the
be my
government would do that.
government, it could
Or
just be
your
like any. It could be
country.
like Bernie Madoff did it, dude. I mean, who the hell knows?
It was Bill Murray. What are you on about?
This is what I'm saying, dude. I don't have to go like overboard.
Okay, it's fucking Groundhog Day. Thank you.
Bill Murray's at it again in his antics.
Bloody hell.
The realization of it is
I just
that
can't get. I'm sorry. I'm so naive. I don't think that shit happens.
Yeah,
It's
but,
well, just know the world's full of evil, very evil, sick
Yeah, well,
people. I mean,
apparently so.
look at all this stuff coming out in Hollywood. I'm not going to say anything about it, but
Okay.
you look at it, man. It's
Yeah,
very,
the head of the Department of Labor is resigned.
I mean, look at that. Yeah, look, fucking
He's
hell.
resigned because he's afraid.
Who?
Well, for good right.
He looks like a frog.
Who?
Oh, you're talking about the guy that just resigned last night or yesterday?
Acosta.
Yeah,
Acosta.
anti-Semitic
Like
comment.
that's not a name that we should. Acosta.
Oh, Costa resigned, did he? I missed that.
I'll accost you.
Oh,
I'll
Costa's a
accost
nice. Costa's a
I
nice
think
cup
there's a
of
problem
coffee.
in the world right now about words. There's a war on words and speech right now, and I think it's getting a little out of hand. I think it's quite ridiculous, really. I mean, there's a clear distinction between hateful rhetoric and humor, and when you blend them together, man, you get this diverse. Someone's pissing on my comment.
No, that's another half bottle of wine by the sounds of it.
Nice.
Yep.
No, it's actually Coca-Cola.
Okay, sorry. That was the wine
Oh,
last night, wasn't it?
Should relabel that as
Oh, yeah.
bleach, man. You've got
Sorry,
to sell it.
it was Coca-Cola.
Hang on, guys. Hey, Pete, bye. I don't care. You're not allowed to talk about it anytime. What makes you think I'm going to let you talk about it now? Piss the fuck off. Don't come back then. I
Where
don't
is
care.
he?
Pete, don't go.
It's in the side chat.
Pete, don't go.
Oh, for goodness sake. Hang on.
Goodbye.
Well, here's the realization of
Bye.
it. That you got to understand is that
I don't think I'm smarter than anybody, Fletcher. I'm not willing to accept. That's all. It's not enough. There's too many things. There are too many things that I don't accept.
What though? Accept what?
Yeah, say channel. That is
Well, because
the best thing I've ever heard.
Fletcher said, "So you people," which he shouldn't say things like that, but okay, are smarter than hundreds of experts that confirm the building fell. Which I'm not sure that there's hundreds of experts that have confirmed it. But okay, fell because of the impact of the planes, whatever.
There aren't any.
No,
experts.
because I'm telling Fletcher that I don't think that I'm smarter than hundreds of experts. I don't think I'm smarter than anybody, but I am entitled to my own personal opinion.
Absolutely.
About it, and in my own personal opinion, I find the whole thing to be very suspicious.
Okay, but if those suspicious things that happen can be explained,
well, yeah, you know.
That's
So you mentioned that
I used to be more.
because a lot of people assume that Building 7 fell due to explosives without even seeing the video of the whole ceiling, the whole roof collapsing long before the building did. Because if they had saw that,
I think the turtle moved and it shook the ground, and
so because it can be explained the way the news and the
No.
engineers told us. But I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I know I might be misinterpreting
what you're saying,
but I'm gonna finish my statement on it. You mute me up. I'm fucking trying to talk, bro. Come on, give me a fucking break, man. Come on.
No, because here's the reality.
Because
it's not because
you
Jose.
gotta put me on mute.
Yeah,
Jose, pick your lip off. You're gonna get a gravel rash.
Not because of the media or what engineers told me. They have video evidence of the fucking roof caving in long before the building does. I just said that 3 times.
Okay, Shawn, let Jose speak now. Okay, just for clarity. Jose, go. Please don't have left. Did you leave?
No, he hasn't.
I'm trying to unmute myself. I had the wrong
Okay,
layout.
Jose.
So I'm gonna
Jose,
try
speak
to
now.
remember what I was gonna say. I'm gonna repeat it, and hopefully this time Shawn is respectful enough to let me fucking talk. So because Shawn G say, stop the fuck up, Pip. Come on, let me fucking talk. Come on.
Sorry. Okay.
So because Shawn G say, because it can be explained, because it was explained to me in the news, because it was explained by engineers, I don't have to question anything, and there's no other explanation of it, right?
It was not explained to me by the media or explained to me by engineers off to the side. It was shown in video evidence that you can watch your damn self.
You just verbal diarrhea for like 10 seconds. You made no sense whatsoever, bro.
Come on, Jose, be nice.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yes,
it does.
Make a sound because I can leave a camera and I can review the footage and I hear it.
Well, isn't sound something that's defined by
Your
frequency
ears.
and vibration being done?
Yes, and I can put a camera and I can hear it, yes.
All right, so if a tree falls and nothing around is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
No, it
yes,
doesn't.
it makes a sound.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
But
Why
there's
would it
no
not?
sound. There's nobody to witness it. That's it.
Hold on a
It
second.
makes a vibration.
Are you saying
It makes
since
a vibration.
nothing's there to actually receive the vibrations, that there aren't vibrations?
No, I'm saying there's no sound. No, not vibration.
The
word
sounds
sound.
are, hold on. The sounds are the vibrations, right?
The sound is the interpret.
What
the,
you get in
the-
your ears.
Yes, it's
Right. And that's,
it's like
that's
it's
done
like-
by vibration, right?
yeah, it translates it. It's a
If
translation.
a tree falls down in the forest and there's no human with ears to hear it,
Or animals
doesn't
or
make-
anything. If nothing's around to hear
but
it,
if there's a squirrel or a woodpecker or something,
then it would pick it
it
up
will
as.
hear it. There
yeah.
will be a sound.
No, that's not right. Because
No,
it would be
that's
like it would be like saying
Yes,
it would be
that
like
is
saying
right.
in order for a rock to be a rock, you got to be there to identify.
No, it's a
rock.
totally different
No,
thing. Like it's like
No,
this.
it's
Let me
not because the
explain it, right?
vibrations
Hold
are
on, hold
still
on.
there
If-
with or
Rock
without.
doesn't
If
make
I sent you a
noise.
sentence in a different language and you had to translate it, you had to translate it to understand it, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? Through that translation, it becomes sound. Sound is defined by the things that you hear, your ears
And
translation,
your ear makes the noise. That's
and
why
it's
you've got
something your brain
eardrums that make the noise and puts it in your brain.
translates
No.
it, buddy.
No, you're having
And
an
a
experience. You're
squirrel- a
experiencing an
squirrel has an
aspect of
eardrum.
reality. You're saying unless you're there to experience it,
Reality
that it
is
doesn't
nothing
happen.
but
That's-
vibration.
Hang on. This
I'm
is
sorry?
slick.
Reality is nothing but vibrations.
This is slick.
Okay, so you're just
Come on.
saying
That is the first point. I
Did-
agree
did-
100% with Sean G.
did you-
Amazing
hold on,
how
did-
people react and change subject when they realize
Hold on, stop. Then all you're saying is
they
that
have no
if
clue.
there is
Go from
vibration,
9/11 and the
it doesn't
sound. Go from
require you
9/11
to be
and
there
whatever
for
was
there
presented
be
to you in the
vibration.
news. Stand by any of the sound of the three, right? Okay,
If you
thank
didn't
you.
have ears, if you didn't have ears, you wouldn't be able to translate the vibrations into sound.
You are doing that. That does not affect the sound in any way at all. You're not
You're not
necessary for the
there.
vibration.
You can't hear it. It doesn't make a noise. But a bloody squirrel up the fucking tree can hear it. It makes a noise. Go away.
Can you do
It's
you
a
not
noise.
understand that, buddy? Gary?
Good
No,
grief.
can you understand that just because you can hear the vibrations, like you're there to actually experience the vibrations, you are not necessary for the vibrations to happen.
I think you're conflating two different things. I think you've got the
I
double split
don't-
experiment in your mind, and you think I'm trying to conflate that with what I'm saying. But I was very, very simply asking, does it make a sound? And the answer is no. And you're
The answer is
conflating
yes. Your
I'm not-
interpretation that sound is what you hear is incorrect. I
Yes,
think sound
exactly.
is the vibration.
sound
The
is a vibration.
right, but the vibrations happen whether you're there or not. Can you give me an example where the vibrations aren't
yes,
there?
but it's not sound because it's just vibrations.
Yes,
If
it
it's not,
is.
if it's
The
not
way you
translated,
no, that's the way you react to the sound. Your eardrums react to that vibration. That
and
vibration will
that's
be
why,
there
and
whether
that's
you're
what we
there or
define as
not.
sound. That's what we define as sound. That's our
Yes, the
interpretation of
vibration.
sound.
Your question
Sound-
is,
Let me
if
ask
you're
you-
not
Yeah,
there,
eardrum.
are the vibrations still there? The answer is yes. You have not
Slick.
said that they
The
haven't.
answer is no.
Shut up, Slick.
So the
Shut
vibrations. So
up.
if you're not there, the vibrations won't be there.
No,
Okay,
I'm not
you
saying that.
shut-
The vibration
Okay.
will be there.
Okay, that's
The sound won't because you can't interpret. No, if nothing's there to interpret the
It
vibrations.
doesn't require it doesn't require interpretation, right?
How can
No,
you? How
birds
can you
have
show
no
evidence of
eardrums.
this?
Squirrels have no eardrums.
Well,
Possums have
it's
no
the same way you can
eardrums.
hold on. It's the same way you can interpret anything, right? If
Shut
you're
the
not
fuck
here, that
up.
doesn't mean that there aren't rocks. If you're not here, you can't say that there isn't a different degree in
That's not-
temperature.
that-
Like it doesn't need
you're-
you to tell me that
you're
it's
being
hot or it's cold.
sophistic.
That
Stop being
happens whether you're
sophistic.
there or not. You
Guys,
haven't
this is what
demonstrated-
Sound
Sophism
waves
looks
are
like.
sound waves, and some
Guys,
body
listening,
or
this is what
something
sophism
will
looks
hear it.
like. It's when people
Shut
make
the fuck
conflate
up,
arguments. And
the argument isn't conflated. You need to show an example.
You've
where
now
if
brought
you're
in.
not,
You've now
hold
brought
on,
in
you
an
need to.
external thing.
You
You're now
need
saying
to show.
I'm talking about a rock.
You need to show an example of if you're not there, that example wouldn't work, and you haven't done that.
Well, excuse me, but correct me if I'm wrong. But doesn't science say that it's vibrations that give off and things around sensories? People, us who have senses, animals that have senses, bats that have different senses will pick up on those vibrations and translate it. Just like your eyes. Your eyes aren't. You don't see with your eyes, buddy. Or you're going to tell me you see with your eyes now? Your eyes translate light, and that goes into your brain.
But what you're saying is the light wouldn't be there if you weren't there, and that's incorrect.
No, I'm not saying that. It's your conflating.
That's what you're saying. You're saying that you translate the light.
The light will be there. The light will be there, but the house will not be there, or that I'm looking at, to my perspective, because I'm not reading that information.
Twat.
The light's still there, but there's no eyes to translate it into what it looks like. Because
thank you. You just debunked your own position. If the light is still there without your eyes to translate, then the sound is still there without your ears.
All right, so it's the sound's not there because nothing's there.
A mouse will still fucking hear it. You might not hear it, but the mouse will hear it, or the squirrel will hear it because they have ears. It's sound. It's vibrations. Yeah.
Is that your belief, Gary? Is that your belief, Gary?
Is my belief what?
It's not Gary. It's Slick.
Is that your belief, Gary? What's your belief?
Is what my belief? Because you're asking just a random question. Belief about what?
Well, what's your belief then?
About what? Be specific.
About what you're talking about.
What aspect?
Are you talking still about 9/11 or trees on sound?
Trees. About trees.
About,
thank you.
I feel if there was a universe.
Guys, dance away.
I feel if there was a universe with no living beings,
Slick,
no living beings at all, but it looks exactly like the universe we're in right now, but there are no living beings, and a tree falls in the woods, it still makes vibrations, which means
it makes vibrations, but it's not translated into sound.
It doesn't have to be.
Yes, it does.
The vibrations are still there. It's no different than when you said
the vibrations are still there.
No, it doesn't require your ass to be there for there to be a vibration, right?
Gary?
No, why would I believe that?
You don't. Did you say you don't?
No, I don't. Why would I believe that? There's nothing to indicate that it is.
Doesn't need your ears
I just wanted to know what your opinion was. That's all.
Yeah, there's nothing to dictate that the Earth is flat. If you have some kind of positive evidence for a flat Earth, please.
No, I don't. I don't believe in flat Earth, mate. No, not at all, man.
Okay.
The Earth is the globe, my friend.
I got you. Okay. Now, the 9/11 thing. I mean, I guess we can get back to the guy with his 9/11, whatever it is.
Yeah, sorry. I just thought I'd just fill the void while he went away with a question. And then you just went you got really defensive there, Slick.
Well, no, I don't like you keep saying that the translation. Yeah, to me, you're confusing the map for the place. So
no, I'm doing it purposely. I worded it in such a way to confuse, because
who's
it's
Gary?
the actual definition
Gary
of sound.
Rhodes? Could you not come in your own name, Slick? You can't exactly disguise your voice. Come on.
You guys really disguise Slick. Come on, give me a break.
That's like, come on.
I can see you only be here for a few months dealing with these people. All right, Pip, it's okay.
Thank you, Jose.
Yeah, you don't know how to discern a sound of a voice from another.
Okay, I don't. Okay, bye.
You leaving? All right, bye.
Just want to say that Pip's sandwich picture has fake bacon on it.
I'm not leaving, and my bacon's going to stay.
Oh, because you say bye, I thought you were leaving. Okay, then stay.
Oh, no, sorry. No, I'm sorry, Jose. No, I'm not leaving.
There's a lot of passive aggressiveness going off, if I do say so myself.
I'm waiting for the puppies, Jose. Come on.
Fake bacon has that effect on people.
No, real bacon.
She's Scottish. She's eating that real bacon.
No.
We're having cash and I having a bacon off.
A bacon off, eh?
So disclaimer: this is the way I kind of am more commonly. I'm more emotional that I let myself out on my own channel because I want to keep it more unbiased. But I am a flat earther in heart, and I am an auto hoaxer, and I don't believe shit that is presented to me in the mainstream news or media. Therefore, it's all bullshit. Thank you very much. And the Earth is a sphere rotating also.
Sweet, cool. Go for it. Write a thesis, dude.
Okay, Jose, what's your next conspiracy thingy? Please note 9/11 or something.
There's no
conspiracy.
There's no conspiracy. There's just believe or no believe. Just believe what is told to you by mainstream media, or don't believe it and cross-reference and research for yourself. That's all. There's no beliefs. Believe
Did you say
you
you
if
don't
you want to
be-
believe the news. That's it.
Did you say you
What
don't
is-
believe
what-
anything that's from the mainstream media? Is that what you said?
I don't believe it. No, I don't.
Do you believe that they're the mainstream media?
No, I'm not taking the sleek approach or satiric approach. I say if a big event is presented to me in the mainstream media, I say like, yeah, that's bullshit. That's why I don't look at the media for the last 2 years. I don't see it.
Instead of just like dismissing it straight away, you could absorb the information, look it up, look at other people's opinions, form your own kind of opinion on it instead of just dismissal straight away.
Yes, yes.
Because you seem very intelligent and you
I
seem
listen
very
to
passionate.
it. Yeah,
right?
I listen to the news, and I listen to it, and automatically when they open their mouth, they say, "Oh, big news! The big event took place." I say, "Yeah, hold on." I say, "Yes, it's a hoax."
I understand.
Automatically, it's a hoax, and I listen to them, and then I research outside the mainstream news. That's it.
Can I ask you a question? Are you rejecting the information because it comes from the mainstream media?
No, I don't watch mainstream news, mainstream media, but I come across it. I stumble across it on YouTube, on Facebook, and other
right, but no matter how you come across it, you get the information and it's from the mainstream media. Do you disregard that information because it came from the mainstream media?
No, I don't disregard it. I listen to it, but to me, it's automatically a hoax. That's it.
Well, you're contradicting yourself. Is it automatically a hoax? That means you automatically disregard it, right?
No, I don't disregard it. No, you're misinterpreting me.
Then what does automatic mean when you say that?
Well, you're the one trying to put this automatic word in here, and I'm trying to.
You said automatic. I didn't say automatic.
Okay. So I say automatic, right? So everything that comes out of the mainstream news is a hoax. That's it. It doesn't exist. It's fake news.
So you immediately disregard it because the information comes from.
Listen, I think
but I listen to it. It's not that I disregard it. I'm tune off. I listen to it.
I think it's more opinionated than actually factual nowadays. I think there's more. Our mainstream media has become very opinionated across the world, and it's politically driven. I think
my regards to saying something that's false because of where the information comes from. That's a fallacy. You can't do that. That's a logical fallacy because if the mainstream media told you today that 2 + 2 = 4, that's obviously true. And you're not going to disregard
that's
that.
oversimplifying things.
Right. That's putting it in simple forms, but there's other information that if they told you Donald Trump was the U.S. president, that's obviously true. You're not going to disregard that information.
No, that's not what he's talking about. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about if there's a story going on, he can read
the USA.
So the key is, if I listen to a piece of news and they say, "Oh shit, hold on, Pip, come on, pipe down, Pip."
Sorry, Jose.
So if I hear a news in the news, they say, "Oh shit, the ISS is gonna crash in the ocean or whatever," and I say like, "That's bullshit," and that's it. I can walk away thinking it's bullshit. If I'm interested in it, I'm gonna research further. I'm gonna look at other mediums to research and cross-reference myself. That's what I mean. Now, if I'm not interested in looking a further answer and satisfy myself, I'm happy with my own opinion of being fake. It's nothing wrong with that. Now, if I'm interested and I cross-reference it and it's true, it's true. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's my own opinion. Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's cool, man. That's cool. I was just going to suggest one thing and just say it's sometimes when we stick our feet firm in a position that we have, we can just start disregarding everything and get blinded. You see, that's all I was going to say. Sorry, Pip. Go on.
No, it's just, can we just draw a line across
between the UK and the US?
Yeah.
All right. I will say the BBC is probably the most unbiased media on the planet at the moment. Then
this is what I'm getting. It's like blah blah. Everyone's an American this and American this and USA and USA.
All right. What about the Telegram? That's corrupt. Daily Mail.
We're not
bullshit.
All of us are on. Well, I don't even read papers or anything.
It's all opinionated.
I get my shit on YouTube.
What do I need
get my
evidence
shit.
from?
I
Zero
get my
evidence
shit
of
from
what?
you
Of the
guys.
mainstream media's news give us fake news
I
all the
don't listen
time?
to
Most of the
mainstream.
time? Yes, there's evidence for it everywhere. Come on.
Yeah,
Say that
but
again, Karma,
but
'cause I couldn't
you're
understand you.
biased. But Jose, I'm sorry, but you're biased to the USA. Okay, that's what you see.
What do you
That's
mean
what you
bias to
get.
the USA? I don't understand that
Because you're
statement.
in the USA, so all
You have
your
a firm
news,
position
all
and you're
your
blind to
media,
other
all your
opinions.
stuff is USA based.
Isn't this a personal journey that we all have here?
No,
Or you
but
guys got
Yes.
an agenda to push onto other people's?
I'm not
No.
pushing anything.
Then it's my
You
opinion.
in
You
the
gotta accept it or
USA,
leave it.
all
Don't
your
argue with it.
news. Excuse me.
No,
do
that was
you know
cool. Yeah, that's fine, mate.
Jose,
No, I agree with
Jose,
you, mate. That's.
do you know
I was just
anything
making
that's
a
going
suggestion.
on outside of the USA, news-wise, right now? Do you know anything that's not USA based? No, there you
And
go.
this is definitely not my channel because I don't act
No,
this
I'm
way
just
in my
saying.
channel. I'm unbiased on
I'm
my
not
channel. You guys
acting
know.
anything.
I'm just addressing
saying
somebody in chat.
all your
Pip.
opinions are USA based, but there's other stuff outside of America.
So
If
what
that's
about
the way you
Brexit then?
interpret what you heard,
That's just what I'm saying.
I respect your opinion, Pip. It's not that way, but if you interpret it that way, it's up to you.
Pip, what
Well,
about Brexit then? What's your thoughts on that whole shit show?
I don't give a fick about it. I honestly don't care.
No.
I voted leave.
You voted leave.
Yeah.
You're probably one of the
I
fewer
also
people in
voted-
Scotland that did.
I'm Scottish.
There's some people angry with me talking too much, so I'm leaving. See you later, guys.
No,
You
Jose,
don't have to leave.
leave.
No, man.
No. Oh, for goodness
Well,
sake.
see you in a bit, dude.
Who's mad?
yeah.
Lottie? Lottie's mad? Oh, big deal.
I'm sorry I had an opinion, but the whole world does not revolve around the US of A. There's other shit happening.
I
There is
beg
a
to
lot of
differ.
shit.
There's actual real shit.
But the
happening
USA
right
has the
now.
only real bacon. Just saying.
Hello. Did you see my avatar?
If I may interject there.
Yes, I saw.
Of course you
Crashes. You do not have the best bacon. You
Sorry, I
have
had to
quite
unmute. Yes, I
Look
saw
at my
Pip's avatar. It is a fake bacon
I'll have
sandwich.
you know. Excuse me, guys. No. Excuse me, guys. I'll have you know, Britain does a mean fish and chips.
Oh, curry sauce.
Curry sauce, tomato sauce, the whole
No,
shebang,
no,
mate.
no
Whatever's
sauce.
whatever's on your fancy that
Salt
weekday.
and vinegar. Salt and vinegar.
So I shared a video.
Yeah. So this is what's gonna happen. I can give a shit less about that panel. Jose, you can play your fish game somewhere the fuck else, but when you want to come on my panel and do that and shit and all your fucking obfuscating bullshit, if you have zero evidence for what you're gonna say, I'm not interested. That goes for everybody. Pip, love you to death, but we're not ending a conversation because Pip doesn't want to hear it. Not sure if you guys realize it or not, but when I'm talking about it, I don't take it as a fucking joke. I don't take it as something that can just be bypassed on it for anything. Here's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to start a hangout. I will send a link out to the people that want to actually have a fucking conversation about it. I'm not interested in talking about if fucking trees are heard in the forest if no one's fucking around. And here's a newsflash. Yep. Just because we live in America doesn't mean we only know about American stuff going on, and we don't only need to listen to the media because there's other sources for stuff. Jose, the last thing in the world I'm gonna do is shut up because your platform may be fine for that shit show if it happened, but not mine. I don't roll that way. If people don't want to fucking come on anymore, bye. You don't want to hear what I have to say, bye. If you don't like how I just handled the hangout, bye. I don't really give a fuck. But the realization is if I'm going to talk about a conversation, I want to talk about a conversation, and I'm not going to play the fucking troll game, Jose. And that's the reality of it. I'd rather have had fucking Pete on my panel than what just fucking happened. Every time I'm trying to talk about some shit, I got someone in my background talking about it. Doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about it. Who cares? Got someone talking over. Like, I have to fucking battle my way into my own. I'm not battling my way into my panel. Other people on my panel aren't going to change the subject if we're in the middle of a fucking subject. You're trying to explain some shit and no one wants to hear it. Fine. Don't hear it. Go. Bye. The fuck out. Jose, bye. You don't need to be here. That's the reality of it. Now, when I come at it with fucking facts, Jose. Maybe you should listen in now. Yeah, I do have to do damage control. Thanks. Because the realization of it is that I know it was a false flag because of all the documents and then the research that I've put into it. And I don't take it as a fucking joke. I don't take any of it as a joke. And when you come on here and you want to act like everything happened the way you think it fucking happened without any evidence, you sound fucking stupid. Because I don't follow a media narrative. I don't follow the conspiratard narrative. That's the reality of it. How the fuck do you know how a building fell if you've never in your life looked into how demolition works? Jose, you sound exactly like a fucking flat earther with that bullshit. My opinion of Building 7 happened because of the media and what the fucking engineers in the hearing said. No. I fucking watched the fucking the roof cave in long before the building. Now you can keep avoiding the fact that fucking happened. But that's reality for you. You don't know how explosions, controlled demolitions work. How are you to have an opinion on it at all? I suggest you go look into it, or maybe shut the fuck up long enough for someone who actually does know what the fuck is going on to explain how those little BS bullshit things you heard on YouTube, Jose, aren't exactly how it is. Because where did you get your information from, Jose? I would love to know where your sources are for what you believe happened on 9/11. And for anyone who just got here and you want to assume I think that the media's narrative was correct, fucking bullshit as well. But I guarantee the media had more spot on reporting than fucking Jose's fucking evidence. Because I heard him say, come on, 17 fucking times, and not once use a damn bit of evidence for how he even came to any close to that conclusion. So that's the way it is. So Jose, play that fish game, play that troll game on your shit. But I don't have time for that shit at all. This isn't a fucking let everyone talk and be a shit show whenever the fuck it happens and let it go. I'm not playing that fucking game. So if you're gonna be on my fucking panel, grow the fuck up and act like you got some fucking sense. Otherwise, I'll do this by myself. I don't give a fuck. I'd much rather do this by myself than listen to bullshit. Same reason I don't have flat earthers on my fucking panel all the time anymore, because I'm not into listening to bullshit. That's the reality of this. The reality of it is, I don't care what your channel is for, Jose. Your channel is your channel. Here, I don't run it the same shit show way. I don't let people just talk and fucking say whatever and blah, 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 blah. I want evidence. Evidence needs to happen. So that's the way it is from now on. Don't come on my shit if you plan on being a fucking troll. And if it makes you feel any fucking better, I won't go to your shit either. Because I don't go over there playing fucking games, Jose. So why don't you fucking respect my shit and do the same? And that's just the way it is. That's why, for everyone, that's why me and Jose have different fucking streams. That's why when Jose doesn't show up and I was doing his early streams, I ran it his way, and then I do a stream and run it my way. That's how it is here. If you don't like it, go away. I don't care. I'm gonna try this fucking again. I'll open up a fucking panel. Can't grow the fuck up? Don't be here. Jose, don't come on my fucking panel. You go play your troll game somewhere the fuck else. I don't need Red Bulls and fucking cigarettes. The funny part is, Jose, you think it's funny, and then you can enjoy your fucking laugh. Because as far as I'm concerned, go play your shit show somewhere else. That would probably be the biggest fucking difference between me and you, Jose. I'm taking my shit seriously. I'm not just using it as a platform. Jose, peace the fuck out, man. I ain't got time for your bullshit. You want to come on here and apologize for being a fucking troll on my shit? That's fine. But I'm not playing your game. I don't want to talk to fish. All set up so I can go in. Hang on one sec, guys. What's up, Sasha?
Hey, Shawn. How's it going?
I've had better days.
I got that presentation finished.
Awesome.
Really?
Let's do that.
Do you want to do that right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll give me time to relax and calm down. Let me get to the Discord real quick.
So I got a PDF version and I also got a PowerPoint version. Which one do you want? Or I can present it.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Here, let me jump on my computer.
Hey, P Mars, there's a kid here, man. Hey, first of all, there's a fucking kid here, P Mars. Today you are not playing that shit. Period. That is all there is fucking to it.
You're fake.
Again, P Mars, I'm not fucking playing. Today is not the day to do it. There's Sasha's on this panel. That shit don't work.
Okay. Let's see here.
Hey, P Mars, I'm gonna say this again. There's a kid on this panel. I will dox your ass in a heartbeat the next time you come on my panel. Hey, I'm gonna let you know right now. P Mars, I gave you the warning. I'm gonna dox you in a second. All I'm doing right now is looking for your address. What's up, Max?
Not much. What happened to the other deal?
I took that off because I was irate by the fact that they were
the money you make
deciding that they were. Christ. I didn't like the way that panel was going, and Jose decided he wanted to come on and troll, and I've had it with that. It was funny at first, now it's just ridiculous.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, I was pretty.
I was sort of backs and forwards from the PC because I was sorting out some dinner, and I sort of come back and thought, hello, what's going on?
You're just abusing children.
No, right now we're just kind of waiting for Sasha to be ready to present. And in about 2 minutes, I'm gonna fucking dox fucking P Mars because I gave him a warning.
Let's see here.
Oh, he's decided to play silly games again, has he?
Where's the screen share or the present button?
That is look at top left.
Yeah.
Green button, screen share. Yeah.
You are presenting.
Okay.
Ah.
Let me get everything set up here. Come on. Let me see here. Okay, I need to go change my presenting settings. One second. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm ready. So this is just a brief overview of the 3-day debate format. I'll go over the purpose, the structure, and judging. First, starting off with purpose, it's to give everybody a voice and allow time for research. It also helps keep the debate on topic and prevent personal attacks. There have been a lot of debates where all four of these grievances have occurred, and I want to try and eliminate that so that we can have a fair platform where we're debating the facts and not the person.
Yep.
Just to lay out some terms to start off with. Your partner, that'll be using this presentation. Your partner is the one person that you are debating. The judge is appointed judges are appointed for non-bias to keep score. The moderator is the organizer that decides partners and steps in if common etiquette isn't followed. The opponent is the person who gives rebuttal, and the presenter is the person originally speaking. And that will make more sense as I go on. On the first day, we'll have introductions, and we'll appoint two judges from each side by common vote, so everybody observing and participating in the debate will vote from a list of judges that have signed up to appoint two judges from each side. Then the moderator, who is also the organizer, will announce the pairs of debaters or the partners. And that will take 5 to 10 minutes. Then everybody will present their opening statements. Each opening statement has to have 4 points supporting your model or your view on the topic, and 1 point against your opponent's model or your opponent's view on the topic. All arguments require a source. On the second day, there'll be a rebuttal, everybody will give their rebuttals to their partner's presentation from the prior day. There will be 4 arguments denouncing the opponent's points from the prior day, and 1 argument defending the point made against your model. And all arguments require a source. Then the presenter will just give a on-the-fly response to their opponent's rebuttal for about 2 minutes, and this one does not require any source since they don't have time to research. On the third day, we'll have closing statements. They will be 8 to 10 minutes long. After each person gives their closing statements, the opponent will have a minute to give any final words, and the presenter will finish off their closing statement. Then the judges at the very end will average out all their scores, announce the final scores, and hear any score appeals. So if somebody doesn't agree with something that happened, they have a chance to appeal it. They can't argue it. They can just say, I think that should happen, and then the judges can take whatever action they see fit. So let's get into judging. There'll be 4 judges, 2 from each viewpoint, and they're, again, appointed by common consensus. Appeals can be made anonymously to the judges at any point, and I have a bot that will do that. Each judge scores everyone. Then participant scores are averaged for a final score. So everybody receives a score from each of the 4 judges. But since those scores might be biased, we average them out to eliminate that bias. For scoring, participants each start with 25 points, and then points are added or removed based on a rubric, which I'll show you in a minute. If an action is relevant to 2 items on the rubric, only 1 point will be added or subtracted. Judges are expected to follow the principle of charity, which means they're interpreting the speaker's arguments in the most rational way possible, and they're avoiding trying to attribute irrationality, logical fallacies, or falsehoods to statements, and trying to see the most rational and doing the most rational interpretation of statements made. Points will be added if a participant's point is not refuted during their partner's rebuttal to their points. A participant successfully refutes an argument in their rebuttal. A participant shows their partner's source to not be credible or relevant. And this is not awarded if they don't also refute the core argument. So you can't just say your source isn't correct. You also have to add a response to that. If a participant exceeds the minimum of 4 affirmative and 1 negative points in their opening statement, negative being against their opponent's view, then a point is added. Points are subtracted if a definition presented, if not directly quoted from a source, does not match the one given on Wikipedia. This is to prevent the Nathan Thompson style of coming in and stating definitions that may not be accurate. A definition may not be used as a source. And if that happens, a point will be subtracted because definitions are not sources. They're definitions. If the opponent changes topic to avoid giving a response, this will be hard to do since it's not back and forth. But if they do, it will result in a point being subtracted. If a participant fails to cite a credible source to support a claim structural to their argument, the point will be subtracted. If a participant questions their partner's credibility, a source previously presented is sufficiently shown by the partner to not be credible, or a judge appeal is mentioned more than once by the appealer or mentioned at all by the accused, a point will be subtracted. And that's just to make sure that they're not arguing over points, they're arguing over the topic at hand. There will also be, if the opponent fails to respond with the minimum of 4 negatives and 1 affirmative to their rebuttal, and the presenter fails to present the minimum of 4 affirmatives and 1 negative in their opening statement, unless cut off by time, that will also subtract 1 point. But time shouldn't be an issue. And then just to clarify, if the minimum requirement of arguments was exceeded, the opponent does not have to respond to more, but can still gain/lose points if they do. Just to define a credible source, it's defined as coming from a scientific consensus, which doesn't mean the scientific community. It just means it has to have been cross-examined by multiple qualified people. Threads on the internet and YouTube videos from people without credentials, if used to explain instead of show, are not credible sources. To clarify, you can show a video of a ship disappearing over the horizon, but you can't use the explanation in that video. You have to produce your own explanation. And that's it. And just some basic rules. Again, no swearing. Use the principle of charity. And don't question your partner's credibility. If any of that happens, the moderator will have to step in and show you the and show you the door if you continue to act that way.
Basically, no ad hominem attacks and that sort of thing.
But that shouldn't be too difficult since you're not going back and forth. It's going to be spread out over multiple days.
Yep, I've got you. That's pretty cool. That's I like that. It's the structure that should avoid it being shit shows, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, we had a very good example of that with that Simon Dan hosted debate between Conspiracy Cats and Nathan Thompson, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
The
you
very
guys were explaining that to me before. What had happened?
Yeah, it was structured a similar way to this. Each of them could put forth an argument, one argument, not gish gallop, not jump about from here and there and hither and yon. Nathan Thompson, for example, could put forward an argument, and then Conspiracy Cats would debunk it without interruption, and it was a very structured back and forth, and I'm sure that was done quite deliberately because Nathan Thompson relies on gish galloping and spouting verbal diarrhea, and you just can't keep up with him.
Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that's different about this is, again, you have that day to research. You have that day to prepare any arguments or rebuttals. And in that way, even if you do usually rely on changing the topic, you have time to find information so that you don't have to change the topic.
Yeah.
It's designed to benefit the participants as much as possible.
Yep.
Hey, Sasha, there's a couple questions in the chat. MA2 Fletcher was asking, does your own observation, or I'll read it verbatim. Did that say anything about using your own observations? For instance, guys with drones, or go out to the beach and do curvature.
Well, your own observation would be defined as it would fall under the same category as using a YouTube video to show something, and the explanation would be your own, so that's okay. But what you can't do is you can't say, go watch my video where I debunk this, because you have to explain it there and then. You're not going to send people to watch other videos.
No, you've got to have the evidence ready to present as part of your argument.
Ready to present.
Yeah, you've got to say, I'm asserting this, and I observed that, and here's the video to back it up. This is what I did.
And we're not going through and searching for videos during the debate. We're not going through and before the debate happens and before your rebuttal happens, you have to have everything presented, everything ready to present.
Yes.
And sectioned off into timestamps and all that stuff, and it needs to be clear and concise.
Yeah. So you don't get the.
Oh, go ahead.
Which is why you have so much time to prepare.
Yeah. Otherwise, you end up go and look at my video. It's on my channel. I can't quite remember which one it is. Oh, what's the timestamp? Oh, I don't know. It's only a 2.5-hour video. We've had that before in discussions.
Or did you see my debate with this guy? But yes, since there's not going to be back and forth, that won't happen.
No, because that can't work. That's just time wasting. And that means you haven't prepared yourself before you started the debate, have you?
Also, you have limited time during your presentations, so you can't waste that time, because you have to meet the time requirements too.
Yeah, but
just to make sure it doesn't go on too long.
That time is quite long, though, isn't it? So because there's no back and forth, that would allow people. The one thing about back and forth is you can have two individuals discussing a subject, and not if it's structured and well moderated, the individual with the most knowledge on the topic will be very apparent. The issue with not allowing that back and forth and having it real time is that will not be so apparent, because an individual that might want to say, so for instance with myself saying, this is CGI, they can go away and start looking up terms and put together a presentation based on research that they've done in the last day that they couldn't stand up to in questioning. That's what the real-time aspect, you're able to.
Yes.
I'm able to say to someone, okay, brilliant, well, tell me about this, and what is it then?
But that's also the point. It's to eliminate the lack of knowledge, because there's been so much, this person's not knowledgeable to speak about this, so we're just going to kind of ignore them. We want everybody to have a fair chance to research it, because even I find myself in places where I get asked questions and I don't know the answer to them. But if I have a day to research, I can come up with a suitable response. So it's to kind of eliminate that, oh, you don't know it, so you're not qualified to debate on this. It gives them a chance to.
Yeah,
to
I mean, my point is more about, cause and dependency of a specific, let's say, rebuttal. So you might be able to go away and research a topic and come back within a day with a response. But the problem is that response might have too many downsides or cascading dependencies that an expert in that field would actually know. But because you've just researched it, you've presented this as fact. But then because there's no backwards and forwards, it's hard to say, no, Sasha, that's wrong because of X, Y, and Z. Do you know that this is, you miss
that's
that.
why you have the judging, the scoring system, and your closing statements, and those short response times. You also have appeals to the judges, so you can say, "Hey, judge, this person said this. Can you go fact check that really quick? Because I don't think that's right." And then the judge can go do that, and that would count for you and against them in the scoring system.
Yeah, but then the judges need some knowledge to be able to judge the merit of what someone's saying. An example would be.
Also that's again why we have 2 flat Earth and 2 Globe Earth judges.
No, I don't mean just. I mean on a subject matter. I don't mean based on biases or anything. So, a really simple example is, imagine flat earther says space is fake, and there's been no verified space footage that it's not plausible. There's been no verified space footage because all of it could be. It's plausible that it's faked. The response is, no, it isn't, because to fake this amount, would be ludicrous. The green screens, the weightlessness, and then the rebuttal is, well, look at the film Gravity and all of this. It's dead easy. And then the response is, well, in Gravity, there is no shot that is beyond the parabolic dive of the vomit comet, or it's wire work, and the wire work restricts you in very limited axes when the actor's performing, of which you can blatantly kind of realize when they don't do all these amazing little pirouettes and things. Is there going to be enough time to actually work down to a point of getting to the point of, no, you can't fake this, because there's too many steps there, I think.
And that's what the 2-minute on the fly responses are for, after the rebuttals and the closing statements. If you have any of that to say, be like, no, that's not true. It's obviously not true. You can say that. And also, if you prove that, or if you provide evidence to support that's not true, they get docked a point and you get added a point. So it's kind of incentivizing that not to happen the way it's structured. Incentivizing them to use people to use credible facts. That probably wasn't the best explanation.
I'm just thinking about the definition and contextual term of credible fact. Because there's 2 things there. One is fact and the other is credible. And credible needs a relative point to be able to be judged from. So who's going to judge credible?
So that's going to be the judges, and also any appeals in chat.
So the issues I've got with the judges.
So far,
sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Well, the judges, the credible part is coming. It's a very narrow kind of. When you say examined by multiple qualified people, how do you know that they're qualified? Who determines that they're qualified? Is it based on what they say? Is it based on the nature of how they say it? Because a lot of the time, I've read articles about 3D graphics from I don't know, journals that I just know are wrong, but they will be classed as credible sources. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of latitude.
There's also the chance for if you're the opponent and you say, hey, he just presented a fact, the judges marked it as credible, but I can show evidence that that's not credible. If you do that, they get docked a point and you get added a point. So it's made to incentivize you to fact check them too. If that makes sense.
No, it does. I'm just trying to in my mind work out how this plays out.
So
given the experience of what I've had watching people debate.
Yeah, and it's a very different than the typical debate in terms of how sources are presented and how they're judged. But the same thing goes if a flat earther can prove that NASA sufficiently that something NASA said isn't credible, then they get added a point. It's made to be fair, but I'm gonna take a look at the YouTube chat.
Muting myself again. If there's anybody in the chat that wants to ask a question about it, if you don't understand something, let me know. Of course, there are going to be some holes that we got to fix and fill, but that's exactly why we're presenting it now.
Yes, and if you have any suggestions to that point, if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. If you have any ways that we could improve this, we'd love to do that. And the link to this to my full explanation is in that Discord that Shawn posted, and there's a PDF of this PowerPoint as well.
Yeah, I put the link into the 3-day where the rules and everything, the sign up and everything is. All right. Trying to get myself calm from earlier still.
Deep breaths.
Why are you not calm, Shawn?
Oh, you weren't here.
Too much coffee.
I had about enough of Jose's trolling on my shit. And,
why?
And I got triggered and I went off on him. I kicked him off the panel and banned him off my channel.
No, why?
Yep.
No, I wasn't here for that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, he decided because it's not his platform, he can act like it's a fucking shit show, troll show. And I made it clear to him that I'm not having that shit. And he can go to his channel and conjure up as much money as he can for fucking Mountain Dew or whatever he drinks. It's not my problem. Not here. I tried to have a serious conversation about 9/11 and he brought his troll to the game. I ain't got time for it.
Oh, I've just realised why 9/11 is a hot topic.
Well, here's the thing.
It's coming up to 10 years, isn't it?
Well, I've heard people talk about it.
Not 10
and,
years,
20 years.
Yeah, no, I just corrected myself then. Not 10 years, 20 years.
Well, I've heard people talk about it and have that, the far off, holograms and blah, blah, blah. But Jose came in and was like, you believe in the media. Basically, he I get triggered when people assume what I think. He did.
Yes.
And when I corrected him twice, he decided to keep doing it. And I realized right then and there that when Jose comes here, he thinks it's okay for him to troll.
Shawn, can I just respond to a couple comments right now?
Absolutely.
So True Blue asked, who's judging the judges for unfair decisions? So anybody watching or participating can appeal to a judge and say, hey, that wasn't fair. Also, it's 2 Globers, 2 Flatties, so the bias averages out if one side makes an unfair decision and the other doesn't. And then Lenny Harry says, rules equal boring. All that we need is manners, not rules. And yep, that's kind of how it's structured to be. They're listed as rules, but they're really just common courtesies to follow.
Which Lenny knows nothing about, but that's just him. if you know Lenny, that's just how he rolls.
Yeah, and we've had ample demonstrations that when you just rely on people's good graces and being polite, that generally lasts all of about 3 minutes, and somebody gets triggered, and there you go.
Well, that's the best part about this platform. You don't have an opportunity to be triggered, because your evidence is supposed to be present. You're supposed to be ready to present your evidence. It's not the same thing as here, where it's like a claim. Give me a second to look for it.
Hey, why did you ask me that? I don't want to do this. Then we would storm off. Yeah.
And that's kind of when, yeah, Pete, you're welcome, but we're not talking 9/11. That's kind of one of those things where the disrespect or the personal talk comes in. That lull between evidences or sources or not being able to provide sources. This is what I call middle speak. It's just an opportunity for people to start, doing those little jabs.
Yep.
During those let me find this times, or what usually happens to me is someone will ask me for a source. I'll get another question, and finding the source, kind of drifts off into the back of my mind, and then they're like, I thought you were providing a source. It's like, oh yeah, but, and it's just a big headache.
There's also, if you don't have time to prepare, sometimes you'll say something and you'll have to correct yourself, and then they'll try and get you on that point. Or if you have a day to prepare, that's not going to happen.
Well, that's also one of the best parts about this platform is it's a debate, but realistically it's like a fact check on, do you research or do you just think? Because I guarantee you, when this starts going, there's going to be people that come in thinking they know enough. They don't need to provide sources, or they don't need to read through their sources. That's one of the biggest issues on both sides.
Yeah,
yes,
you have to
we've
have,
had clear
you have to have
demonstrations of that.
You have to have an 8 to 10 minute presentation ready.
Yeah.
For your opening statement, it's not gonna wait for you.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to get Riley in on that debate.
Also, if you have any topics you are more of an expert in, we can assign you with another person who's an expert in that topic, and you can debate that topic instead of broader terms. It can be narrowed down to topics. It can be narrowed down to. It can be as broad or narrow as you want.
Like I said, I think you have it structured for 5 each. I don't think we're going to ever get 5 each. 3 tops.
I have 6. I have 6 Globers signed up and 1 flatter.
Yeah, and
sounds about right. Yeah, I can't expecting that.
Yeah, exactly. What was I going to say?
But which is ironic though, because it's structured to support the flat earthers. It's structured to say, hey, you can present
I can tell you right now, Sasha, it's not.
In the sense that they've been arguing that they do. They say, oh, we're always talked over. We never get a chance to say what we mean. Well, here's your chance, but they don't want that chance because.
Yeah, but the problem you've got, Sasha, is like Shawn just mentioned. Most of them is, well, if you think this, have you ever tried? What you need to do is imagine, and that's not the way you start factual statements. So, I think one of my criticisms before now to yourself was that what evidence can you bring for the flat Earth other than we can see sometimes further than we should be able to? That's it. What else? Everything else is an assertion based on an assumption.
Well, even if they just describe their model, I'd be glad to hear that. Like,
there is no model though.
They just if they explain how one aspect of their idea works, their belief works. That would be sufficient.
Why do you think they don't have a model? Why do you think they don't have a model that displays
they say they don't.
more than one thing at one time?
Because they tell us they don't.
I just want to say that I've got two things: cubic fall-off of energy and fracted light. So I'm fine.
Fracted light. I really must make a note of that.
Yeah, and I also have another show that if you just don't want to debate, if you just want to like tell your model without evidence or whatever, just describe it to people, and they try to understand. Yeah, I have that, but like, that's not always how it. Sometimes
that's
you
not
have
how
to
you figure out where the hell you are. It's not how you gain knowledge playing that game.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to do that. Try and imagine how it would work, but it's not truthful.
Yeah, and again,
but yeah,
if you look at the style of all these flat Earth debaters, Nathan Thompson, Nathan fucking Oakley, Riley, it's this.
I think Riley's different to those two, though, Sean.
I don't.
I think the first two that you mentioned, their tactic is ridicule, and it's to attack the individual's thought process. So you get Nathan, or you get both Nathans going. So you get one Nathan, and you can guess which one. Saying you believe in the imaginative, imaginary spinning ball fallacy, blah blah blah, and he'll just go on and on and on, building up the point of which you're trying to get across with loads of negative terms in this really condescending voice, and everybody loves that. Whereas then you've got the other Nathan that does exactly the same in a different way. He'll repeat your position and then laugh uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And it's like they're both doing the same thing, and they're both being childish, and that's not they wouldn't be able to do this on this kind of format. So
and yeah, just put it out there. If you are a flat earther and you've wanted to have a voice and you're not like the Nathans, then come join it. We also need judges too. If you want to make sure this runs fairly and you're a flat earther, come be a judge. We need all of you.
you can put me down for a judge, Sasha, if you want.
I don't know. I have to question Dean's judgment.
Dean has judgment?
He is Judge Dean.
Well, yeah. I could ask a clarifying question. Dean, do you count me amongst your friends? If so, then you have poor judgment.
For real.
He lights
firecrackers under. He lights firecrackers under his wife's windows. You don't want to learn anything or be around him at the wrong time.
Cliff, let's put it this way.
Yeah, that probably disqualifies me as a judge.
We've been talking for several months, Cliff, and over those several months, I've come to think of you as somebody I know.
A guy who lives in America.
Yeah.
That's all I can ever ask for.
There you go.
Well, I can add to that. I don't want him as a neighbour either if he's going to be setting off firecrackers all the time.
Quite.
I did just release a new video.
Oh, I know you sent me. I've not watched it yet. No, I haven't watched it
It's
yet,
only 5 minutes. Come on. I'm a guy in America. I thought we were,
Also,
come on.
Yeah, I just want to point out to the flat earthers, if you want to prove your theory, this is the way to do it. If you can win a couple of these debates, then you're onto something. If not, then it just shows who you've always been. MA2 Fletcher Isler is asking, how far out will the debates be set? So right now, I don't have a exact date, but once we get enough people, we'll probably set it out we'll probably announce it a week in advance.
Oh, I've got another question along those same lines. Will there be anything like, I don't know what it's called in the UK, but like disclosure ahead of time. So you show me what you got, I'll show you what I got. Discovery is what we call it in law. Not say we as if I'm a lawyer, I'm not. But a period of discovery where you say at least an outline of what you're going to bring to the table.
We could do it that way. Right now it's not set up that way, but if we want to add that to a couple pairs, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, that may be getting too far in the weeds. I was just brainstorming.
But then, yeah.
Cliff, can I ask you, if it did come to a court of law, what's the best piece of evidence that you would sort of focus on and bring to the table in terms of proving a spinning ball Earth over something different? And we know, just by the way, that we know that there was some sort of a case by Zen Garcia, something like that, and it didn't turn out. But that's a different matter. But what guns would you bring to the table in terms of your best argument to develop on?
I'm not sure towards whom that question was
directed.
That
was to you, Cliff. That was to you.
Oh, well, my strongest evidence is Pete Shea is a flat earther, therefore the Earth is a globe.
well, you got that wrong. Pete Shea is a flat earther. The Earth cannot be said to be flat and stationary in a true sense, Cliff. So you got that wrong, bud. You lose already.
Cliff, I've just watched that video. What I want you to do is watch. Don't watch it all. I think it starts at like 4 hours, but Channel Q did a 6-hour stream.
Oh Jesus!
I know, right? But the last 2 hours they did have flat Earth data on, confessions, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yes, that was interesting.
Yeah, and I suggest you go and listen to not only what he was saying, but how he was saying it as well to everybody.
And are you on about last night's stream?
Pitch roll.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Pitch roll, pitch roll, yaw, and tilt.
Gossip Center.
Oh yes, the 4 axes. Right? Yes,
four axis gyroscope. Come on.
That had awesome. Me just staring at my screen, going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, well,
I just jumped on the request
that 4-dimension. Hang on, is there not such a thing as the 4-dimension, a space-time dimension?
Yeah, there is, but how the hell you would visualize and manifest that in an apparent 4-axis?
Exactly. Good luck with that, bud.
Yeah,
exactly.
You just can't. So, but he was on about a four axes gyroscope.
There's no way to represent it, right? Well, a tesseract or something along those lines. But
I'm happy for
that's why it doesn't exist.
Jesus,
that's why it doesn't exist.
I'm happy for Flat Earth Data to give me more data because I'm going to make several videos about him.
I'll be happy for you to answer my question, Cliff. If I pose it in a reasonable manner, you were talking about law and just how you would go about presenting a case or something. So it's a reasonable question. And you can apply your own expertise as well if you want. Just saying, what's the best argument you would bring to a table? Imagine there was a bet between us. I already had a bet out for 100,000 euros. That's people know about this on Discord, Gem Panda's channel. Genuine bet. My brother vouched for it and everything. Bet is off the table now, but it was at the time. So imagine that something like that came to fruition, and we had to put a third party to make the judgment. What's the best piece of evidence you would bring forward and develop that you live on a spinning ball?
The fact that the globe model works.
Well, that's very general. I'm talking about a specific nail in any coffin, or just the big strongest point that you could bring.
Okay, longitudinal lines converge at the poles, both poles.
Well, longitudinal lines are not real, right? You can't sort of reach out and touch them. You can't. They're not tangible in that sense, right?
Yeah, but we
have
south
circumnavigation.
That's
fair enough. I'm not trying to catch you out here. I'm just saying,
I'm in no danger of that.
Yeah, no, the problem is, Pete, there's so many. I mean, he just said the model works, but that's every single individual thing. It might be a generalization, but pick any one of the things that works, and it just works. Circular star trails, pole stars, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, sunset, sunrise.
The pole star conundrum.
Yeah, distance to the horizon measured by declination with just a compass and a protractor and height. Every single thing works flawlessly, and there's hundreds more. So just saying,
okay, Dean, take it easy,
the globe
Dean.
Earth model works is
All I was saying
sufficient.
is if you were presenting a case, you would produce your strongest argument first and develop it. And I was just asking, all of those things, you would pick one of those, right, and present it.
I know. Mine would personally be I'd bring all the evidence that we brought. We were in space and just looking at the planet.
Right. That's fair enough, and that's all I asked. And by the way, in the top 5 there, you mentioned everything to do with the space, everything to do with the sky above us. Already you've lost. This doesn't prove anything about the Earth that we stand upon, because you've already brought into the equation
in mine
that we don't know for certain is.
No, in mine, gyro compass as well. But in mine, I'd fly away from it and look back, and all that evidence. That's what that would be.
Okay. It's just a general question. That's all. A flat earther, of course, will bring. If I was to represent my own case, well, the main thing I would bring is movement. If the Earth doesn't move, and I would expand upon that. After that, then I'd bring images of the apparent horizon and what is actually going on.
Wait a minute. How do you demonstrate that something? How do you demonstrate that something does not move?
That's my case to make, right?
Yes,
Dean?
go for it.
And
I can appeal to the sensibilities of all in the courtroom, or any human.
You would have to explain anomalies.
Well, I do,
you
but
to
first of all, we'll appeal to sensibilities, but that's a different matter. When I make my case there, when I make my case there, you talk about space, I go on.
No. Your sensibilities and your sensors, you would have to demonstrate that they are in fact true outside of your own perception, and
you know what I do?
I would do that.
I know, Dean, but I would have made a great lawyer, because what I would do was probably mollycoddle the judge to get him to understand, or her to understand, that basically and fundamentally we all rely as individuals on our senses to a massive degree.
No, if you do that, you're definitely going to die young.
Well, we do. Tell me when you don't. Tell me when you. So hang on, Cliff. When you're driving along a small boreen or a side road or something at 40, 50 miles an hour, and there's a car coming. We've all been in this situation, of course. The car coming against you. When you're looking at it, you take it up the whole road from 100 yards away as it's coming closer to you. Perspective dictates, and then you have to use your senses to their max, right? And you do rely on your senses.
How well did using your senses work out for JFK Jr. when he was flying his plane upside down and had vertigo and crashed into the ground?
Well, don't be talking about it, because Shawn will only come in and tell me not to talk about this. That's more fakery, like he's dad. More fakery.
Well, then I have another example.
Can I get like two?
When I'm in the middle of the ocean, go ahead. I'll pause.
All right. Okay, well, Cliff, more fakery. His dad, JFK, fake assassination, but rich in symbolism. He was the king, killing of the king, Camelot. He associated himself, as the story goes, with this mythological type arrangement or setting. But it's a deeper story, so a different example.
So does vertigo exist? Is vertigo a real phenomenon?
Vertigo, of course it is, man.
Okay, so can you trust your senses?
Sure.
Is vertigo a real thing?
If your life, listen to me, you might have vertigo because you're afraid to go to the top of a building, right? But if your life depended on it, you'd get over that fucking vertigo.
No, is vertigo a real phenomenon medically?
It's a mental condition.
No, it's not.
Pete.
It is a mental condition.
Pete, it is not a mental condition. You want to know how I know that? Because I get vertigo. It is not a mental condition. It is the inner ear unbalanced.
Yes, there's fluid in your inner ear. I have had vertigo.
Okay, well, exactly, but
it's a physical. It's a physical ailment. It's not a mental.
Right. I agree, and what I did say was, you also are uncomfortable when you go to heights, right, Shawn? Because the mental and the physical are interacting. Okay, well, so actually, explain your vertigo then. Well, I can't relate to that.
There's fluid in your inner ear, and when it gets disturbed, it makes you not understand what's up and down. It happens to divers as well as everybody else. It's a real phenomenon. That's why they teach you when you scuba dive. Can I finish? When you scuba dive, they teach you if you get disoriented, pull your mask off, and watch which way the bubbles go, and then follow the bubbles, because divers will sometimes get vertigo and swim down instead of up when they think they're swimming up. So, can you trust your senses?
Okay. Under those extreme circumstances, no, of course you can't, right? Or you will be thrown into, for a certain reason, you'll be down, hang on, Cliff, you'll be down there or in these circumstances for certain reasons, right? And something has gone wrong. Now, when you mentioned vertigo, I was thinking more in terms of the phobia that people have, the fear of heights. So not so much vertigo, but absolutely. And that proves my point as well. Our primary senses are sense of balance. That's not listed as one of our senses, right? If we go off vertical by even a fraction, our ears will let us know, right? Our inner balance. It's all connected. Ears, nose, and throat. Everything is connected, right? So that would be one of my own.
Have you ever been? Well, no. You actually, I know the answer to this. You've been on a ferry far enough from land that you couldn't see it, correct?
Yeah, I went on a 24-hour ferry from Cork, from Rosslare in Ireland to Le Havre in France.
Excellent. Now, if the captain came down and said, we're going to turn off all of our compasses, we're going to throw everything overboard, we're not going to use charts, we kind of got we know which way land is. Would you be happy with that? Or would you say, no, you better keep using your charts and your compasses and your gyro?
Well, let's sort of add a different. So this rogue captain took over, right, and everything went wrong, and he never sailed a boat in his life, and he's in the middle of nowhere.
He's not rogue. He's using his senses.
Right. So hang on. So no, I'm saying exactly. How would someone find land? How would you go about finding land, Cliff? Now I know. If I had to take over, everyone else died. I never sailed a boat in my life. If I had to take over that ferry, I would know that according to what I've been trained to think, Ireland in relation to France. So I would always be looking for land on my left. So gradually, as I progress, and I could employ different methods, and I guess looking at the North Star, thinking about how Ireland is related to France,
it's a cloudy night.
Right. Well, then I would continually steer left then, because I know that on the right, if I was to continue to steer, I'd be heading for America.
If the captain of the boat said, I'm going to throw out all the navigation tools we have, would you be okay with that?
No, man. Of course I wouldn't.
Then we're good. Thank you.
That's all. That's what Cliff asked. The thing is also,
I'm getting off. I'm on this for 24 hours. I don't watch this.
The problem is you can't trust your senses, and it's not just on these extreme situations that you said. For instance, people wear glasses because their eyes aren't good enough. We need binoculars. Telescopes.
Shawn, the Bates method of restorative vision. Look it up. The Bates method, BATES method of restorative vision. Look it up. It's not because our eyes aren't good enough. Our eyes have been mistreated, I suppose, in most cases.
Can you see?
Tell that to Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, I mean,
look up Stevie Wonder is the blind in YouTube.
Look at anyone who wears glasses. Their eyes are not 20/20. Therefore, their eyes cannot trust their sense of sight.
No, but hang on. You know what glasses do, Shawn? They make it easy. They laserify your eyes, right? If that's a word.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yes, it is. Look up the Bates method of restorative vision, right? Look it up, Shawn.
Laserify your eyes. What does that mean? Laserify
I know,
if
that's a word. If it's not, they make your eyes lazy, right? So what it does is it makes it easy.
Lazy. I thought you said laser. Laserify your eyes. And they're like, yeah.
Well, look up the Bates method, Shawn, and
wait a minute, Pete. I actually agree with you here. I routinely take off my glasses to strain my eyes a little bit more because I want them to get because I want my eyes to get stronger at being themselves, and having glasses on causes them to relax into the problem that the glasses correct for. So it kind of.
You're not willing. Let me guess this, Dean. You're not willing to say, let's put in an hour of exercises for your eyes on a daily basis.
He just agreed with you.
Oh no, I would
know,
be.
yeah,
No,
that's
I
what
would
I'm
be.
saying.
No, I would be, Pete. Oh, I actually
Well,
would be.
then save
But the thing
yourself.
is,
Look at the
I have a tiny. I only have a tiny prescription anyway. I did have astigmatism, but apparently that's gone now because my new prescription doesn't have this astigmatism in it.
I have astigmatism as well. I'm a flat earther.
So yeah, you're right. You do.
Yeah, okay, that was a good
You
one,
wouldn't
Pete.
fucking believe it. You wouldn't honestly believe it. Number of people who just deemed me immediately stupid and worthless after I told them I was a flat earther after previous sort of intelligent conversation. Unbelievable.
Pete.
Hey man, how you doing, Sasha? Oh no, Pippa. How you doing?
It's Pip. I'm a woman. I live just across the water from you.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How old are you exactly? When were you born?
Good. We're both Celts in a sense, Pippa, right?
Just answer the question. What year were you born?
I'm from Limerick.
I know where you're from, Limerick. I am not. When were you born?
When was I born?
Yeah.
I'm 47. 1972.
You're 47.
1972.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 10 years older than you.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice one. You don't sound it, Pippa. You actually sound like you might be 30 years younger than me. So that's why I thought it was Sashay talking.
Well, I don't drink my own pee, but there you go.
No, that's okay. I don't know. You know, we all are what we are.
Don't sound like.
And your eyes are working? Your eyes are still working at 47?
Yeah. Let me put on my camera
I don't
here.
believe a word of it.
My eyes are working.
Yeah,
my camera isn't working, but my eyes are working. My eyes are working perfectly. Unfortunately, my son is blind in one eye completely. So if I could, I'd take out my eye and give it to him.
Shut the fuck up. If that's what your eyes can see.
Did you just tell me to shut the fuck up? Hang on, Pippa. Did you just tell me to shut the fuck up?
Yes, I did.
Well, I don't know you, so let's move on. Talk to someone else.
Know me. No.
Yeah, so talk to someone else. Don't do that. Don't do that to somebody.
Why won't you talk to me? Am I not clever enough? Am I not famous enough? Or am I?
Don't tell somebody who you've never spoken to before to shut the fuck up.
I have spoken.
Don't do that. If you apologize, you can continue. Otherwise, talk to someone else.
You called me Sasha. You have no idea who you're talking to.
Right.
No,
Sasha's not even Scottish.
Well, I made a mistake.
So I will tell you to shut the fuck up, because we have spoken.
Briefly. Before. If we did, it was briefly. So
well, even
put your camera on. Put your camera on, Pippa.
Oh, here we go. Put your camera on.
Tell me to my face at least. I don't think I deserve to be told to shut the fuck up by somebody.
I don't think people deserve to be called trannies.
Pete, people don't deserve to have you.
I never said anything about
shut the fuck up
character here.
Hey, hang on. Wait a minute.
Fucking hypocrite.
Pete. I could literally take a ferry over tomorrow and see you in about 2 hours. And I can tell you to your fucking face, you're a fucking idiot.
Why would you do that?
That's how close I live to you.
Right, so we meet, right? I meet you in Dublin.
You come over to me. You go and grab a fucking ferry. Come over to Stranraer.
I don't know you, man. So hang on, why you come over? Why would you tell me I'm a fucking idiot to my face, Pippa? Why would you do that?
I will tell you. I'll get a fucking ferry and I'll come and tell you.
Yeah, but for what reason? What reason would you start off
just to tell
meet
you're a
with?
fucking idiot, and so you.
And in what sense? Why would you have made that judgment?
So you can see my face in all my glory. I don't need to put it on the internet. Why would I put it on the internet?
Why are you being so unladylike here? What's wrong with you?
Because you said I'm a fucking tranny and I'm a bitch and whatever.
I don't know you at all. If I did, I don't remember where.
No, and I'm calling your shite out.
Who are you? What the fuck is going on, Shawn, here? I don't know this character, unless you're by some other name or something.
Oh my goodness.
Are you Patricia Steer? Pippa
Definitely not Patricia Steer.
Pippa Steer! Pippa Steer!
Let's work the name out. Okay.
Who are you, dear? Who are you?
I'm your worst fucking enemy.
I have no enemies. What's wrong with you? Why would you call me? I'm not a fucking idiot.
Because I can literally go on a ferry and come and see you.
And see, I have to look down on my own image here like a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
and I've now to look up this Hal, but I don't know you. What's wrong with you?
Fuck Fuck off, Pete.
Who are you, though? Under another guise, I might have known you.
I am me.
Peach, you just didn't want to be talked over, and now you're going off on a rant about how you don't know her. Just you were talking over her, so let her talk.
I wasn't trying to talk
Pete
over
wants to
anybody.
see, Pete thinks he should see everybody.
I don't have earphones as well, so when I'm talking now, I can't hear someone else. So sorry, off you go, Pippa. I didn't mean to do that.
Shut up. I can come over on a ferry tomorrow to Ireland because I live that close. And you and I can meet. Let's have a discussion face to face.
If you want, come see me in Limerick here. I'm not going to go to Dublin
Well,
to
I
meet
can
you on
do
the
that in
ferry.
about 2 minutes. I live
You do.
in the south.
Right.
I'm not going to disclose, but I live southwest of Scotland. I can get a ferry across to Belfast anytime.
I'm in Limerick City here. You're looking at the King of Era. I'll meet you anywhere in Limerick. I'm not going to come to Dublin to meet you, but if you want to say something to my face,
I can drive.
do
You
it.
come over and visit me in
I'll
Scotland.
treat you like
You'll
a
be
lady
very
if you are.
welcome.
If you're not a lady, I'll still
I
treat you with a
think I
certain
am a
level of
lady.
respect.
I've had 2
You
babies.
have beef with me.
See,
What's
you
going on
don't know
here?
that. You don't know
What's
that.
going on here? It's a beautiful evening, and here you are down on me. Why? Because I mentioned Bates'
You said, are you a
method
lady?
of
I
restorative
said, I am
vision.
a lady. Come on, Pete. Come over to.
Hang on, what's
Pete,
going on? I
you
also
were
talked about my son.
You were
My son
talking
is
over
blind
her,
in one eye.
and she wanted to talk, and then you made
Hey,
a big
Sean,
deal
my
over
son
it.
is blind in one eye, right? My son is blind in one eye, and I found out that all it would have taken after all is an injection of bicarbonate of soda into his eye at an early age to get rid of the cataract that was there. And it turned out, after all the years later, all the struggles we went through, he still lost complete vision in his eye.
Silly man.
He's one eye, I have one leg. I think it's for a reason.
Yeah, oh, shit.
Right? I think it is myself, but I wouldn't wish that on anybody. If I could pluck out my eye and give it to my son, I would. Can't do that. Right? So I don't know what Pippa is. I don't know what Pippa is talking about. I don't even know who Pippa is. Who the fuck is Pippa?
Guinness is Pete. Guinness is Ireland. Guinness is harp. And see, I can do all your shit. Fuck off, Pete. Come on.
Turn up your volume and let's give you 5 minutes, Pippa. Off you go. Have a go at me.
I think I've had
Come
my
on.
5 minutes. I think I'm done.
I didn't hear much of that, to be honest.
No, because you wouldn't shut your fucking mouth up.
Don't have earphones, but I don't know who I'm dealing with here.
That's because you weren't listening. You were talking over her.
Yes, I was, because I already said, she told me to shut the fuck up, Sasha.
You said that because you weren't listening.
Thank you, Sasha.
So she seems to have come on with some sort of a beef with me, and I don't know who you
Would
are.
you actually like to where I can see your fucking house from my house with the P9000. I can see Ireland from where I stay.
Are you drinking? You're drinking, aren't you, Pippa? Well, fair play to you if you are.
No, you just
You smoking some of that? You smoking some of that?
I vape now.
I'm gonna fucking smoke some of this after this conversation.
Okay,
I don't know what's going on.
I'm coming over to see you. It will take me 20 minutes. I literally live across the water.
You like me, don't you? Do you fancy me? Do you fancy me, Pippa?
No, I'm already married to a bull man, so
Well,
no, that's okay. Been there, done that.
I don't even know you. You could be a tranny for all I know. I don't think I ever called you a tranny.
Does it matter who you're talking to? You need to know who you're talking to.
Well,
do I need to be famous before you talk to me?
I don't talk to. What do you mean famous? Who do I talk to who's
I don't
famous?
know you. Why am I talking to you? I don't know you.
I talk to everyone and
You're
anybody.
a dick.
I have a dick.
What? You say.
Well, my son's mom says so as well, right?
Well, there you go.
I know, but I'm not saying any of this, Sean. I don't know what's going on here. I come on for a conversation.
No,
let's just
women. Sorry,
let's just go back to the conversation. Let's just go back to the conversation. Okay? Enough talking about who everybody is, or what they said, or why they didn't want you talking over them. Let's just go back to the conversation.
It's just Pete doesn't like being talked over by who's this weird woman that suddenly appeared?
No, please speak more. I'll go on mute, Pippa. Please speak more. Speak for 5 minutes and I'll hear you out. I have never heard you. I don't know where I'm coming from. Please do.
Exactly. I'm not allowed to talk because Pete's never heard of me. Uh-oh. I don't care if you've never heard of me. I've heard of you. And you're
It's not that I never heard of you, Pippa. I've seen you on panels before, but we've never spoken one-on-one, right?
It doesn't matter who's seen what or who. Go back to the
That's all.
conversation.
I'm just saying where I'm coming from here. That's all, Pippa. Don't take it personally. It's not that I never heard of you.
Okay, I'm muting. Shawn, I'm muting. I'm muted. Thank you.
I got a question, Pete. So, given the fact that Schrodinger's and Shawn give you multiple examples of how you can't trust your senses, and we could probably convince this make-believe judge that you've sweet-talked of that fact, what is your second point that you would bring for the shape of the Earth, or the lack of motion?
And I would then pass it over to you to convince me that my senses are fooling me in terms of movement and prompt you to offer up any sort of proofs or your own side of the story, to counteract those senses. But then I would take images. Sunrise and sunset proves a flat Earth, and I could do it with I've done this 3 years ago with numerous different instances that you're looking over a flat plane of water that behaves in a reflected manner.
Wait a minute. Don't break away from the subject. So I've got a document for you in a second.
The subject.
No. Wait a minute. No. What about motion? So I've got a document for you in a second. But first of all, I need to establish what you're criticizing. You're criticizing that we don't feel Earth's rotation, correct?
Hang on, Dean. This is not the fucking court case
Come
itself.
on, it is.
No, it's not, man.
Humor me. Come on. So you're okay. Are you criticizing that we don't feel Earth's rotation?
Well, that would be a sort of a core.
Yes.
Well, it is asserted. It is asserted.
No, that's fine.
Your honor, my honor, your honor, his honor.
That's fine.
His honor
That's fine.
all night.
That's fine. Okay.
That I do move against my senses.
Yeah. So I've got a follow-up question. What leads you to believe that we should, given the heliocentric model?
Oh, but hang on. The judge is impartial. You haven't presented anything yet regarding.
I'm asking you, what leads you to believe that what you think is valid when you're criticizing the accepted heliocentric model?
I would let the judge, because I know they're of due intelligence, I guess.
I thought you just called him a Jew.
So did I.
I think they're a Jew, so they're going to side with me.
They're of high mind in a sense. I would say, what do you do in a legal sense when you have nothing to say? Just pass it back. I would say nothing there, Dean, and let you develop your case a little bit further.
Awesome.
But I would say nothing.
So, Your Honor, I am going to present a document right now, and I'll post it in the side chat for everybody, that is titled "The Effects of Lateral Permutations on a Psychophysical Acceleration Detection Thresholds," which involves a demographic of certain individuals with a broad spectrum spread of different abilities based on diseases that they may have, all the way through to what we would class as the average human being. Wait a minute, Pete.
I definitely have the jury on my side here. I don't have to say a thing.
So, the link is in the side chat. It definitively says, Your Honor, that given the acceleration of the rotation of the Earth, we have not a blind chance in hell of detecting it as human beings.
Yeah. Well,
how would you rebut that? I put the link in the side chat, and that is an actual study based on.
We forgot to mention in the first place, and you actually touched on that with Sasha in terms of the judges who would be judging these arguments. The judge is not in the position to make these type of judgments. You're appealing to a jury. Would you agree?
Just answer the question.
Pete,
Sasha, don't be rude. Don't be rude and talk to me like that, please. Or
He's not being rude. He's making a very salient point.
Excuse me. I'm answering the question. That was being rude. Because I'm answering the question, Sean. So in a real setting, we would have a jury situation, 12 of your peers. And by Dean bringing up this stuff, right, he's automatically lost most of the jury. I've already won because, you know, well, we can all relate to being still, being upright, not moving in relation to moving.
I have just presented. Wait a minute. Let me just finish. I have presented. I have no, you haven't actually. But let me just say this as a rebuttal to that, then, and we'll end it. I have just presented, Your Honour, a definitive study by respected individuals in the field that say that there is not a chance in hell that we can detect the Earth's motion being human beings. And not just by a small margin, but in some cases an 80% one. In other words, it falls 80% below our threshold of detection of acceleration with our human ability.
But hang on, so you can say 20% of the people can feel this acceleration?
No. I'm saying the unit that we can detect, it's 1/5 of that unit. So the very fringe effects of perfect detection of this study show that if the magnitude of the current effect was 5 times more, we might be able to detect it, but that's only a small probability.
So why didn't you just
it's in the study that I linked.
Hang on. Why didn't you just say very little and present this document and say, that's my case, I'm off?
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. I've just planted it in the side chat.
That's all you had to do, right?
Yeah,
that's
cool.
all you had to do.
I'll do that.
But remember,
I like sound of my own voice, though, so I've got to say some
words. It was a glib sort of question to begin with. You've obviously been doing your research here, Dean, and to present any case in that hypothetical scenario,
it wasn't. Wait a minute.
You can present any piece of evidence you like, but when we get to the basis of it,
that evidence wasn't for you.
Who are you trying to convince?
It was for a guy called Red Hen Radio. Red Hen. Wait a minute. Yeah, Red Hen Radio.
So actually, what you're saying, Dean, what you're actually saying is, even if we were moving, we wouldn't feel it. But that's not to say we couldn't be still. We could be absolutely still. Why could we not be absolutely still, Dean? Then I would ask you.
So you're asking? No, my point is arguing against your fact that we would feel motion.
No,
and
but I would say to you
that says we wouldn't.
I would say your argument is, even if we were moving at astronomical speeds, right, in any direction whatsoever, this document here proves that we wouldn't feel it. So
Correct.
I would say, well, that's fair enough. Let's accept the basis of that document is true. Now, if we were still, would we feel that?
No.
Right. So how do you prove that you and not I is correct? Every one of us in this courthouse, I'd say to the jury, I'd do a dance. Every one of us in this courthouse has never felt movement of the earth beneath the ground.
All right, cool, awesome. So if you accept, then Pete, that we cannot detect with our sensors the rotation of the earth, given that study, if you accept its validity. If not, please present evidence otherwise. So yes, now let's address we won't detect being stood still. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is we can't detect it, human beings, but guess what? We can with instrumentation and sensors now, as in electronic sensors. They're incredibly advanced. So now let's take some weighing scales or force meters and let's measure the same calibrated 1 kilogram weight all around the land masses and figure out why they come out different. And then let's run the calculations on the diameter of the earth and the forces that would exert based on the weights that we measure and the differences, and realize that, hang about, these match up so accurately. It's just either an amazingly coincidental funny joke by a deity, or it is in fact a spinning ball.
I have to say, spinning ball is not a
rotating planet. I just like the. Yeah. I like the.
Lots of ifs and buts thrown in there, Dean. And if this was the situation.
Wait a minute. Have you seen Toadie's latest video where he actually did this?
And I asked him, has he taken all factors into consideration? For instance, we know that in hotter climates, right, there's a different sort of pressure system in play. We know that if you step behind a tree, you have a different pressure system.
Right, are you ready,
as opposed to in the open sunlight.
Ready? So do you know that, yes, the buoyant force at a micron level or a minuscule level could actually affect the weight of something because of the pressure of the air around you. But to a scale, it would be insignificant. Now, to say it wouldn't make an effect is an outright lie. But to actually say that it would make no measured effect on a weighing scale with 1/10,000th of a gram accuracy, that is actually correct.
Right.
And you could do this in a lab. You could go up a mountain. You could do all of these and figure it out yourself.
Right. So, Dean, we notice, and let's take these discrepancies into consideration. You agree that there seems to be a pushing force from above.
I do not agree on that.
No.
I do not agree on that.
Please. This is what the mass is. When you put the mass on the scales, it's pushing from above, right? Now, when you have this deviation or variation, hang on, please. Who's jutting in there?
Mia, I am.
Mia, how you doing, Mia? Who are you?
Oh, for fuck's sake! It's Pip.
Don't call me that, farmer's boy.
Call you what?
Call me that if you like. That's better.
Oh, fuck me.
Nothing's
Off you
pushing,
go,
Pete.
Pip.
Nothing
Go.
is pushing. It's gravity. It's fucking pulling everything down.
The weight is pushing
Just
against
get
the
your
scale.
head
Pippa,
around it.
No.
turn up your volume
The
there, Pippa,
mass
as well.
is
You're
being
very low. You
pulled.
sound like a little mouse in the background. Honestly, I mean, your volume is just a bit low. There's the weight is pushing on the scale.
Okay,
The
is
scale
that
is getting a
better?
reading.
Fuck's sake.
No, you're honestly, ask anyone else. You're very quiet.
It's pulling. It's
Nothing
being
is
pulled
pushing.
down.
The weight
Nothing
is pushing on the
pushing.
scale.
Nothing
The scale
is
is not pushing the weight. The weight is pushing on
Everything
the
is
scale.
pulling.
Hey Pete,
It's
Pete,
gravity.
what instrument are you using to come up with the conclusion that it's pushing from above?
Well,
Good question.
that's even besides the. That's even the later issue, Sean. The
No,
more
no, it's not. It's not.
we have
it's
to
not.
agree
It's
that
a,
the
it's a
weight
very,
is. Do you agree that the weight is pushing on the scale, Sean?
No.
No.
You don't.
Nope.
It's
So do
being
you agree that
pulled by
the scales is pulling on
gravity.
the weight?
Jesus Christ. That's it. Everything's pulling. Nothing's pushing.
Who says? Prove it, Pippa. Don't just say that. Come on.
Not Pepper.
Why?
No, not Pepper. Call me
Pippa? Pippa? What?
No, it's Pip.
Pep.
Pippara. Pipparo.
No,
Pipparo.
Pip.
Well, I see Pipparo here. Are you French?
Oh.
French, Scottish?
No, it's
Pip,
pipe
your
at
audio
it,
just
if
kind
you
of
must.
dropped off. Maybe if you could
Doing me a dick.
get closer to your mic.
Yeah, can I just present 2 seconds
Go
to
for it.
predominantly
Basic
to
questions as
you
well.
to you, Pete? Are you ready, Pete?
Yeah, these are basic questions I'm asking as well, though.
No,
Go
no,
on.
that's fine. So I'm answering your. Could it be a pushing force? Basically, that's what I'm trying to
These
answer.
are basic
I
things
didn't get to that
everybody
yet,
knows.
man, because I stopped for Pippa. So Pippa, off you
Well,
go.
no, you did ask. You did ask that before.
Yeah.
Please call her Pip.
Well, it says PIPARROT on
Okay,
your
Pete,
screen name.
if you're so bothered, would you like my real name?
No, but
don't
I
worry
mean,
about that.
Jesus, my
No,
Pete
don't
Shea
worry
is
about
on
that,
my
Pete.
my name
Pete.
I
here.
don't mind giving my real
Stop.
name.
Stop, Pete.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
Can I
that's
just
Pipparo.
present something, guys, really quickly to bring this back on track?
Yo, please do.
So there are 2 laboratory experiments that I'm going to show now, which is about gravitational attraction. One is a lateral force here. It is not that something is pushing, it's that something is, they are being attracted together. So you can think of them both as pulling. Now, before anybody interrupts, we see this happen. Now, something better now, rather than this Cavendish, is this thing. This is a very accurate scale. So it doesn't matter. We could actually say something is pushing down here and providing this weight if we really wanted to. But what we then wouldn't be able to explain by maintaining that it's pushing is that when a weight is moved underneath it, it weighs more.
Not much more, but
Because now it can accumulate pushing, but it's actually gone up. That angled weight above has actually increased. It's not that it's
And if
gained
you
more mass. It's that the effect of the force of which we call weight has increased. Now, how then, Pete, did what now is pushing more on that, and why?
First of all, I haven't seen this. Maybe
I'll
Pippa,
put it in the side chat. I'll put it in the side chat.
maybe Pippa can come in here and give her impressions on
Yes,
what's happening.
everyone in the whole world has seen it. You have seen it, Pete.
Yeah,
Don't
but,
deny it.
no, but hang on. I have to consider it first of all, please. I had telling you I haven't considered
You've
it, so
seen it.
I have no chance to consider it.
Yeah, no, I'll put it in the side chat, Pete, if you want to have a look.
So, whatever's going on there, Pippa, do you want to explain how it proves you live in a spinning ball?
No, this is not a spinning ball. This is about pushing force, Pete. Pure and simple.
I don't
yeah, well,
live,
okay, yeah. How it's a pulling force from below?
Spinning ball. My Earth just goes as it goes. It's not
No.
spinning.
How does Dean's experiment there prove to you more so that gravity is a pulling force or a pulling force from below as opposed to something else?
Excuse me. There was a weight, a mass, and then they put a bigger mass underneath, and it pulled it down, and it made it heavier.
Which is exactly, which is what we would predict through the use of gravity. That's what we would predict.
So that looked like was that in milligrams? So 1 milligram.
Oh no! This is a 10,000th of a milligram or something.
It's not 1/10,000th of a milligram. No.
Yeah. Now wait a minute. We have accurate scales now, Pete, and the reason why, the better sensors we have now.
What accurate scales did Cavendish have?
Oh, none. He had to measure lateral force. He could never measure. He couldn't do this in his time at all.
Right. So now, when it comes, let's accept that this phenomenon is real. When it comes to an explanation as to why it is real or what is happening here, what's your best theory put forward?
Because the accumulation of the mass that is placed underneath, which has its own, not push, but attractance, which is going down.
Attractance?
Underneath, attractance, new word. No, it's been attracted.
Like laserfy. So you have two new words tonight,
to be honest,
attractance.
Yeah, laserfy. I like that. Lazyfy. That's what it is. It's not laserfy. It's lazyfy.
Lazyfy. Yeah, that's really what I said. It's my Irish accent.
Yeah. So they're both being attracted to each other. A pulling force. So therefore, because one is coupled to the force meter, the weighing scale, that's what's actually gaining the most amount of force because of that. That's not to say that lead ball hasn't actually got a little bit lighter, which it actually will have, but we just wouldn't be able to measure that, nor is this the point. The point is placing that underneath is pulling it down more, because because now now besides the Earth trying to attract that down and pull it down, it's now got the lead ball that's also pulling it in the same vector. Therefore, we have accumulation of those two.
So what about like the table and the foundation of the house and etc.? So would they give us a false mass reading on those scales then, because these are all influencing?
Not on these scales.
No,
it would have to be very close and very dense, and that's why this is a lead ball.
Right. So far from
gravity is a weak force. So
of course, I could go on to talk about the ether, and if you want to imagine it as a sort of a stew. Hang on, please. If you want to imagine it as a sort of a mist or something, because any mass will displace this meat.
You're making shit up.
No, hang on. This is space time. This is where it's all metaphor.
No, it's not.
So hang on now. Listen, hang on. Pippa and Farmer's Boy. When I start talking, what the fuck is wrong with you that you must come in after I have only one sentence out? If this happened in a pub in Glasgow, Pippa, I don't give a fuck if you're a Scottish wee lass or not. You get a nut for it.
You fucking dick.
You would get a nut for that, right? You would.
Give me one question, okay?
I'm just saying, though. I mean,
well, no, you're not just saying. You're being a dick. But
I'm trying to talk. Farmers, Dean here.
One question.
And you're talking like this then because we can't hear your volume.
Fuck off.
Yeah, pump up your volume.
One question.
Who are you?
Question. Why do you care who I am?
You're like a fly. You're like a fly.
Oh, You won't speak to me because I'm not got a big YouTube channel or something.
No, I'll
Just
speak to
answer a
anybody.
question.
Just relax, though. I don't know
Please.
you.
Well, shut up and answer a question.
Go.
Will you answer a question?
What's the question? I will ask it.
Or shut up then. You are in Southern Ireland, in the Northern Hemisphere. Yes? Obviously.
No, not Northern Hemisphere. The hemisphere applies to the sky. I'm in Limerick in
you're
Ireland.
in the Northern, okay, whatever. But you talked to Scotty Storm that lives in a land down under that doesn't
Yeah, I know
actually
Scotty.
exist.
I know Scotty, yeah.
But he lives in Australia. That doesn't exist.
Does it not? So therefore Scotty doesn't exist. I fucking knew it!
Well, if Australia doesn't exist, Scotty Storm doesn't exist.
None of this exists. Even your name doesn't exist. Pippa Parrot. I mean, what the fuck?
No, get my name right. It's Pie Parrot. Thank you.
Parrot, come on.
Right, where's Scotty Storm if Australia doesn't exist?
He's over that way somewhere, dear. He's like, if I point this way, if I got on my jet boots, and zoomed up over level water, he'd be over that way. He wouldn't be down there at my feet.
Oh, he wouldn't be down at your feet.
No, he wouldn't. I'd have to head.
So where the hell is he? Is he upside down hanging off the
He's
wall?
over there. He's over there. The moon, we can see the moon in the sky here. The moon is a reflection of the sun. If you can't see that tonight, you'll never be able to see that.
It's 9:42.
So he's just over there. As the sun goes
9:42.
around in his path, he's over there. That's all.
9:42 where you are. It's
Water is always flat.
9:42
The land isn't flat. The water is always level.
Shut up, Pete. It's 9:42 where you are. It's 9:42 where I am because we're basically in the same degrees.
Right. It's 9:43 actually, Pippa.
You're in Southern Ireland and I'm in Southwest Scotland.
It's 9:43, so you're wrong about that.
Okay. Alexa was wrong.
See, that's how long you've been talking now. You didn't even realize it.
Because you can't talk if I'm talking.
I think you fancy me, Pippa.
I
don't care if you have a husband or a wife or nothing. I don't know.
Delusional, Pete.
Oh,
right.
dear.
How can Scotty Storm talk to you in real time, and once in daylight, and once in darkness, and once in summer, and once in winter, and according to you, Scotty Storm is completely upside fucking down.
That's according to you.
According to the world.
So,
according to me.
Okay, sweetheart.
What's going on, Sean? What are you?
Ow.
Oh, dear. Pete's getting a taste of his own medicine, and he doesn't like it.
Answer my question, Pete.
Well, according to me, he's not upside down, dear. He's over there. Do you not remember when I just said he's over there?
Over there.
Not down there.
When he's upside fucking down, why is he not falling off the air? Hello. Bye, Scotty.
Farmer's boy, do you want to take that? You've been quiet.
No, why would Farmer's boy stick up for me?
Correct.
Answer the question.
I didn't know you were a flat earther, Pippa.
She's
I
not.
don't need any man to bloody answer any question. Answer my question.
You don't need
You
it.
and Scotty Storm are talking to each other. You're in broad daylight and he's in fucking darkness. Explain it.
The sun. The sun is a reflection against a contoured barrier, and depending on its relation to that barrier, right? If it's closer to us in the northern hemisphere, remember we have two hemispheres of the brain, then they'll be further away from those more extreme land masses that stick up above the water. So that's all it is. The barrier acts as a shade, so it has a certain reach. Beyond the reach of the sun, we have the colder climates of north and south.
Okay, try again.
So I gave you my answer. Pretty good answer as well.
Okay. Okay, Pete, I've got a question for you, Pete. What's the barrier made of, and how have you verified that it exists?
Have you verified any of this?
That didn't sound like Pippa. Oh, that was you, Dean. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. All right, Pete. No, I can't do it. I'm gonna have a go. I won't. No, I can do this. All right, Pete. No, I'm sounding like a. No, I'm never gonna get.
Do I say that?
Yeah, no, I can't do that. So that.
Yeah, You're fucking out gay, Pippa Parrot. Fuck off.
Yeah. So Pete. So how far away is the barrier? How have you verified that it exists? And what is it made of?
Why Scottish door not fucking upside down? That's how you want to know. How does he not know he's upside down? Come on.
Armor's boy, do you want to take that?
Did I break Pete?
Don't keep trying to drag me into this.
Yeah, why
I don't know who's doing and who here.
Speak up for me, Pete?
No, I'd definitely say you're well capable.
Yeah.
I think you're under some sort of miscomprehension here, though. I say that there's no such thing as upside down people. We're all level, horizontal, on the same plane. Our ears dictate that.
But we're on a globe.
If I went to Australia, my ears wouldn't work.
Of course they would.
No, because everything in my remember the fine balance. Remember the fine balance was talked about earlier on. That would be fucked up completely.
Pete.
Except you're ignoring gravity, Pete. That's why.
Well, that great gravity.
Yeah. So we have that in our model, so that's not right. If you're going to try and represent our model, do it correctly.
Well,
at least we can actually show that we have evidence for what we're presenting, rather than just sort of saying this is what I believe.
I knew more about the heliocentric Big Bang universe than you did, probably, Trust. So
I have no idea. I certainly know a lot more about history and archaeology than you do.
That's fair enough. You think you do?
Pete, you have to stop.
I know I do.
Fair enough. Yet you haven't investigated the pyramids in Giza being built in the last few hundred years. Come on, get off your fucking arse, man.
I've been off my
arse. Not you, Pippa Parrot. I wasn't telling you to get off your arse, Pippa Parrot. That'd fucking take help from your family, you know.
Very, very, very healthy life, Pete. Thank you very much.
And
good.
I'll come over to Ireland and play bowls with you anytime.
Absolutely, I'll be friendly to anybody, Pippa. But if you come along and I say hello to you, how you doing? You tell me shut the fuck up. It's gonna be trouble.
No, I won't shut the fuck up.
I'll tell you, get the fuck back on that ferry now and piss off.
So, Pete, I can present evidence to show you that the pyramids were built thousands of years ago. What evidence have you got to show that they're built in the last 200 years?
Yeah, lots of it.
Yeah, that's a bit.
No, not how much, Pete. What?
But let's not go and bowl or do anything exotic.
Name your best evidence, Pete.
No, I'm not interested in getting deep into this. As I told you, 421 years old our Earth is in its current form. You're all about scientific proof, or like stacks of evidence piling up that you can present a case with. This is not what it's about here. This is not the game I'm playing, Pippa. This is not the game I'm playing. This is sort of life or death for me in a sense, right? Even though you don't care about it, I'm telling you, I care about it.
Pete, where's the evidence? You just ignored the question.
Yeah, there isn't any. That's his problem. That's
right. Well, okay. First piece of evidence I would. Okay, Dross. The first piece of evidence I would direct you to, right, is there was, if you remember the video called "No Forest on Flat Earth," there was a subsequent video to that, a part 2 to that. Now, whether that's still online or not, I'm not sure. I would certainly look that out and present that. And I would also direct you to the research of respected academic Anatoly Fomenko, alongside people like Nico Haupt, who, funnily enough, turned out to be the original no-planer on 9/11. So these would be the things I would present to you.
Yeah.
So Nikolai,
but it would be you would admit it's a bit of reading for you, right, Russ?
No, Nicola Flamento is a mathematician. He's not an archaeologist or a historian. He's also never been to any of these places. Neither has Haupt.
You say he's not smart enough to investigate?
No, I'm saying he's not been to the pyramids. He's not examined them. He's not actually done any research into them. It's all a hypothetical theory.
Right, right.
Not based on any physical evidence.
It's a theory.
Whatsoever. So
all you have in terms of your history is a theoretical story painted.
Physical evidence. Can I just finish my point? What physical evidence do you have? Do you have any physical evidence, Pete? Any?
For what?
I absolutely know that the pyramids were built. I know that the pyramids were built in the last 200 years. I'm not about trying to convince you of anything, because even if I gave you the best case that I could muster, right, Russ, you're still going to deny it because you have an official story to uphold, right? So I'm not going to be bothered. Where's my incentive for that, Sasha? You talk about people inviting people to join your debates. Where's their incentive to join it? Where's my incentive?
You are
for that?
still ignoring the question.
I'm waiting for your physical evidence to address your claim. Please provide it.
So
you said
so
you
you're
have
just after
evidence.
jumping. Hang on, I'm having a drink here and 2 smokes, right? And you're just after jumping in, reaching into a new topic after me dealing with Pippa Parrot on the background, and she's still going.
I said call me Pip.
We're not jumping topics. You're
Let's
the
talk
one
about
jumping
things.
topics.
Hang on, I'd like to throw a question out there for everyone here. Surely there's a question that you're all working on as individuals that you haven't worked out, but you've been thinking about and building upon for an extended period of time. What is your particular question? I will tell you my own question is Aristarchus. To what extent does this cover everything?
Pete, my question is, are you capable of providing
putting
evidence?
the spotlight on me for every point.
Pete, all the questions you want to ask us are in your head. They're not our questions.
I don't give a fuck, Pippa. I never really spoke to you before tonight. I really don't give a fuck.
I don't care if you
Why should
spoke to
I?
me before. Oh, I mean,
I think what I asked is a good question, though. Nathan Oakley is